I want to be like Scarface. That was like my goal. I turned into like just not a good person, just super greedy, sketchy. So that's how I made money for a while. That lasted a couple of months. Somebody tried to rob me, put a gun to my head. It was like this big ass like revolver. Give me all your drugs. And I was just like, no one does this to me. You're not getting away with this. Like, I'm gonna fucking kill these motherfuckers right now. And I was like dead serious. And then they got out and they ran away. The lady at the gas station runs out and is like, what's going on? I'm like, these motherfuckers just tried to rob me. And she's like, there's cameras here. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, shit. You know, like, the cops are coming. So I go call my brother. I'm like, hey, like something happened. And then my mom's just like, we gotta go, let's go home. And I'm just like, we can't go home, it's not safe. And she just starts crying. It was when it really hit me. I was like, I can't do this anymore. All I want to do is just go in the military.
When hunting isn't about hunting at all. Team Dog features comprehensive and customizable meal plans with dry and raw food options to meet your dog's unique nutritional needs, including digestive sensitivities, allergies, or selective eating. Did you know combining 75% dry food with 25% raw food delivers robust, nutrient-dense meals for your dog? Be your dog's hero with Team Dog. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, it's both an honor and a pleasure to welcome my next guest to the podcast. He spent 12 years in the SEAL team, several deployments with the alma mater SEAL Team 3. Finished his career at Tradette in Virginia Beach. He's the founder of LFW Clothing Company, and he's a current active BJJ competitor. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Alex, Mr. Rogers.
Thank you for having me.
That never ends, I imagine, right? The Mr. Rogers bit.
No, I've been hearing that my whole life.
You weren't an officer, though, right?
No.
Yeah, that would have been pretty epic. If
It would have been.
Yeah. What's the last full book that you've read?
Last full book? Well, I don't really do eyes to words a lot. I do a lot of Audible or audiobooks. I use Audible. I don't remember the name of it. I just finished it not too long ago. I think it was on, it's called like Attachment, something about relationships. And then I've been listening to a book for my school called 3D Negotiations, but it's not really that fun to talk about.
Yeah. What, was there a takeaway from the last book that you listened to, I guess?
Yeah, it's kind of giving a deep dive into kind of how I am, like as a emotional person in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like I have a anxious avoidant attachment style. Which
let's get into that. Let's go full Dr. Phil. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
That's also a pretty fancy way to put. I'm sure we can summarize it with something more caveman-like.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a lot of words.
Just asshole.
That's probably the shortest way to put it, because I've been called that more than I've been said. You're an anxious avoidant attachment style. It's just, you're an asshole. Yes, I am.
So what does that mean?
You know, like I get attached, in like kind of an anxious way, like scared to lose something. Kind of like if I sense there's any sort of danger in the relationship or there's distance, I try to close that. And then there's other styles of attachments, so they don't always work. So sometimes I might want to like, let's fix this right now. Like I want to solve problems because that's all I know. Where she might be like, no, I need space. But I'm like, you need space, but that means you don't love me. You don't want to be near me. So kind of hearing the science behind that, and being able to kind of go through it was helpful. It's always a work in progress. I feel like I'm pretty grounded, calculated in most things in my life, but when it comes to emotions, I'm not. I'm very I feel like I'm pretty immature with that when it comes to women.
So you're a team guy. That's really what it boils down to.
Team guy asshole. Yeah.
I'm going to go full spectrum the other direction,
okay.
and since we just did the Why don't you sit on the couch and go Goodwill Hunting, and I'll tell you it's not your fault 9 times in a row. What's your favorite way to fucking humble somebody on the mats? Like, what's your favorite submission?
Favorite submission? I think it depends on who the person is, but I think there's nothing better than just. Sometimes I won't submit them. I'll just torture them, bring them right to the point where they're about to, and then I'll transition to something else and just smash them, just squeeze the shit out of them.
So a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure. Yeah, I think the best example I have. I was rolling at my gym in Virginia. He was new, so kind of spazzy. And I was, and I kind of stopped rolling with people like that because I compete so often now that it's just not worth my time. And I'm not trying to be an asshole. It's just like, you're not going to get anything out of this because I'm trying to train like for a competition. You don't know what you're doing. It just doesn't mix. So, but we were rolling one time and I was like sliding down his legs. He pulled his legs out because it was slippery and he like kicked me in the face, which happens all the time. People get hit. It's a violent art. And if I know the person they do that, I usually won't care, or they'll be like, my bad, and keep going. And you're like, it's fine. Like you can hit me in the face. I don't care. But if you hit me in the face because you're being a dick or you're just so out of control, I'm probably going to get a little upset about it because it's like, there's no need for that. Like, calm down. It's Tuesday afternoon, So he did that to me, didn't say anything, just kept going around. So he was a little bit smaller than me. So I was like, well, this is what you get. So I put this arm around his head, this arm between his top leg, and just squeezed in super tight, and then like drove this knee like into his rib cage and just pulled up. Right to when he went to tap, I just released and then just smushed him down. I'm not resetting with you. I'm just going to transition positions. And then I didn't try to sub him the rest of the time. I'm just going to torture him. And then I think at the end I just grabbed his neck and just like grabbed really hard. And then I still slap bump, and that because I want to be a good sport about it. And then I walked away. I was just like, so that's usually what I'll do.
What experience level was this guy?
I don't know. He's a new white belt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, usually people who've been around for a while don't do stuff like that. But even if they do, they'll apologize. But if they don't, then I'll turn it up a little bit.
Yeah. I guess full-blown submission-wise, do you have one that you feel like you're the most successful with or that is your favorite?
Yeah, I've been hitting a lot of knee bars recently.
Really?
That's like my go-to.
Yeah. I would have thought something more personal, like rear naked or a head and arm or a mounted triangle or something.
I have been getting into those more recently because, or trying to set those up because I've been competing at a lot higher level recently. So people are more aware of legs, especially now. So the best way is to kind of go after upper body submissions, especially when I'm fighting against bigger guys. My last competition was 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas, and my second match was going after head and arms and rear nakeds for the most fit.
Gi, no gi, both?
No gi.
Like all no gi?
Yeah, I just saw my gi the other day, so
like, there you are.
Yeah, what are you doing? Get back in the closet.
Yeah.
No, I honestly, it's funny. A lot of people are like, oh, I only get hurt in no gi. For me, it's the opposite. Every time I've been in gi is when I've got my injuries. I've cracked a rib or two a couple times in no gi, but for the most part, all my injuries are from gi. When I've broken toes, broken fingers, and then just gotten like really injured doing that.
I agree. Like I'm almost exclusively no gi. I couldn't tell you the last time I even rolled in a gi, but
yeah.
When I first started, I did almost all gi or all gi until I got my blue belt, and then mixed it up about 50-50, and now the last several years.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did too. I would do a lot of gi kind of coming up, and then once I kind of found my niche and started competing, I just want to focus on this. I haven't done gi in a while, but the last time I did, I'm like, oh, this is a little different. I should probably do this, get some grip strength back that you can't really replicate anywhere else but there. It's a lot slower pace, at least for me. I push the pace very hard in no-gi. I kind of slow it down a little bit, or do super explosive stuff off of like grips. But yeah, I pretty much just only do no-gi now.
Not to turn this into a full-blown jiu-jitsu podcast, but also being a practitioner, I am curious, with you being so competitive and competing so often, is there a methodology that you use for conditioning, like a type of working out or a specific workout or a few sets of exercises that are kind of your go-to to try to maintain a good level of conditioning?
Yeah.
Outside of training.
Right. Yeah, honestly, I've been competing a lot recently, so it's kind of hard to squeeze those in. If I do, they're only like 15, 20 minutes, but I found that that's kind of the sweet spot anyway, if I can do those a couple times a week. But usually I get the majority of my cardio stuff from rolling competition rounds. But when I am doing like strictly just a workout, I'll do a lot of body weight stuff, or I'll do like explosive stuff with dumbbells, kettlebells, or a hex bar. Whether that's split squats, lunges, RDLs, and then I'll just ride the assault bike or a ski erg, depending on the day. I have a full gym set up in my house, so I'll just go outside in my backyard and do that. I got a assault bike inside with a red light behind it, so I usually will get up in the morning and just like get some movement in with that, and like 60-70%, enough to kind of, just nasal breathing. Get me breathing a little bit heavier, wake me up, and then create just a little bit of sweat, and then I'll dial it back and then go about my day. Yep. So I'll always get the heart rate up. I used to run a lot, like a lot, and I've started this app called Run with Hal, which I loved, and because I used to run all the time, and I try to push myself. I'm like, man, I'm not really getting that much faster. So then some guys I worked with at Trade At were like, check this app out. I started doing it, and I was like, this is weird. Most of your runs are like 50%. It's like, a lot of them you just go out and run like an 8:30, 8:40 pace. And I was like, this is really slow, and I would just do that all the time, like level 2 or zone 2 training. But then I would go do like I used to run a lot of half marathons. That was like my favorite. And then without really ever pushing it, maybe I would do like a 5K trial or some like 400s for speed, but it still wasn't like 100%. But I remember I've really stuck to the program for a half marathon. It was March of 23, I think it was. And I ran an hour 29 at like 225 pounds. So it's like, I think it's like a 6:59 pace.
Yeah.
And I just remember being like, this is wild.
Yeah.
And because I never even I didn't have a single run besides the 400s where I ran under 7-minute pace.
Yeah.
So it was, I try to take that approach to the training as well. Like I'll go hard with my rolls, but working out, I don't really push it that much. Yeah. Again, also because I compete a lot too, so I don't want to like get sore from the working out that I can't train.
Right. Yeah, it's all, I'd say, kind of in line with me figuring that out the hard way, I would say. But if time travel were possible, where and when would you go?
Oh, I love this question. I don't know. I go back and forth between a couple different periods. I loved like ancient Rome and Greek mythology and stuff like that. I love Gladiator and Troy, so it'd be cool to,
Do you think
I guess it depends on how long I would be there. Like if I could come back, I'd want to do that. I like the Revolutionary War period. And then of course, our greatest generation, World War II.
Yeah. Like
just, whether it's just the culture, the entertainment side of things, I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think the 50s would be a fun time to go back to and be able to live.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird. I think a lot of people feel that way, and even as technologically advanced as we are, there seems to be almost like a societal longing for that simplicity. Which is
absolutely. Like, I wish we could, there's too much stuff in our face all the time. You're like, it would be nice just to look out at the field and just see the field, not think about something else.
Yeah, or check your phone for,
maybe I just want to sit on my porch and drink coffee with someone.
Yeah. Do you think you could take Leonidas?
I don't know.
I think you could. I have a theory on that, is that, you know, obviously this is probably bullshit, or it's a total shot in the dark, but the collective knowledge, that is one benefit, I think.
That is true, yeah.
You know, like we've got over 2,000 years of progress in terms of combatives than what they had. Now,
that's a very good point, yeah.
The big question is growing up from birth, basically training to be a, you know, not a fighter, but a warrior. And nutritionally, like, were they the Adonises that we imagine them to have been, that they're, you know, 6'3", 230, 7% body fat and you know, grip strength like a lumberjack, or, you know, were they like the Vikings when they were, you know, a lot smaller than we thought they were, and you know, just because nutritionally, like, you couldn't maximize your genetic potential in a lot of societies back then.
Yeah. With that said, yeah, 100%, because with all things, like, I have access to YouTube, I have access to travel to different places, to different people who've been traveling and competing all over the world, training under different people, where, you know, those, in that time, they're just kind of stuck there. His mindset, I'm sure, is, you know, definitely there. His strength is probably, I would imagine, would be there. But again, like you said, nutrition, recovery, all the other things, like, dude's probably super aggressive, but, you know, I don't think they knew what leg entanglements were back then, so I would have to go after his legs.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've seen some drawings and statues and stuff that show some pretty normal catch wrestling type of moves, you know, which is surprising, maybe not surprising. To me, I'm there with you. Like, I would love to just see what they looked like, you know, like just size them up. Like, I mean, you can get a pretty good sense of somebody in 30 seconds of talking with them to see how they carry themselves. Just to be around them and see what they were like would be sure fascinating.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite quote?
Favorite quote? Yeah, I got a few, but I think the one that first comes to mind is the Rolling Stone gathers no moss. So, you know, like, no matter what, like, you got to just keep going, you know, because stagnation is death. That's another, I tie that quote in with that. Because, you know, I am dealing with some mental health stuff, some depression, anxiety things. So sometimes you just gotta, I don't care how you feel, you just gotta get up and go do something. And otherwise I'm gonna sit here and just rot. So I need to keep moving, and then maybe a few steps down the road, I'll find something or a turn that will change the course of how I'm feeling. So I like that in every which way. And then, of course, like, look for work, do the name of my company. It's kind of that same thing. Just like, just always be proactive and trying to change your life, your community, your family to be better and do something. Yeah. Don't just stay there.
Do you find, what BUD/S class were you in?
304.
304. Do you, from your experience, the time that you spent in the teams, and I know you can't compare it to, you know, say my generation of guys, but did it seem like guys would talk about that kind of stuff, like, from an emotional intelligence standpoint at all?
No. Going through, you know, I went through 2013, 2014, so we were still, like, in Iraq and Afghanistan. Almost all of my instructors, you know, had been there, and came to BUD/S as a break, and yeah, it was gnarly. So, but no one ever talked about feelings. And granted, you're a student too, and I was like, and I kind of adopted that mindset of just like, I'm just gonna be stoic and let nothing bother me. But I, like, went all in on it, and I, you know, in a way, it kind of ruined me. I'm trying to find that back.
How so, when you say
I just tried to just never let anything bother me, especially, and then when I would go on deployment, I remember I went in and talked to my Sea Daddy's room. His name's Tom. I won't say his last name, he's still in. But, and I just had my daughter, Kylie, September 6th. I left, like, September 14th or something. Met them out. They all left, like, September, like, 8th for Iraq. And I flew out after, And granted, I didn't know her, and that's kind of what I justified it as, but I remember going into his room probably in like October, November, just like really upset at myself, and I was like, yo, bro, like, I had to talk to you. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, I feel like so numb right now. Like, I feel like I should miss my wife. I feel like I should miss my newborn daughter, but I don't. I don't really feel anything. And my grandfather died in December, so shortly after we had that talk too, and I was really close with him. I loved him very much. And my OIC and my chief were like, do you want to fly back? I'm like, he's dead. What am I going to do? They're like, well, he's your family. I'm like, if my dad needs me, like, because they were close to, so I was like, if he's struggling, then I will, but I promise you I'll let you know, but right now, like, do not send me. And I was a new guy too, and didn't want to leave the men. So, anyway, back to talking with Tom. I was just talking to him about that, and it helped in a way, because he was like, "What? Your brain kind of just does that." Like, I felt that my first deployment to Afghanistan, I was there for like 11 months, and he had I don't know how many daughters he had at the time. He has 3 now. I think he probably had 2. But he kind of said the same thing, and like that's just how we work. Like, we compartmentalize things, and so I kind of just accepted it. It still bothered me, but I just learned to suppress that too. And then that continued throughout the rest of the deployments. I did go home my 3rd deployment for a little bit, because my son had a pretty invasive surgery on his penis. He had like a fistula, where his urethra was like at the bottom of his shaft, like in the sac almost. And I was just in my head about like transgender stuff, and like I was like, I don't trust these doctors, and I was like, I'm going back. And first I was like, no, it'll be fine. Like, Ashley will stand up, and my troop chief was just like, fuck that. Like, no, we're not doing shit. Go back. That's your son. That's a big deal. He's like, you're not going to miss anything. And if you do, it's worth it. Trust me. I was like, okay. And then I talked to my chief, who I'm still really good friends with, really close to, definitely look up to him a lot, Kyle. He was like, yeah, just go. So I did. I went back for like a week and a half or so. And he wasn't even 1 yet. He was born in February, and that was like 3 weeks after I got there. So it was like in October. So when I got home, though, it kind of all came back, which was kind of another like mind fuck for me. Like, geez, like I just switched. But I think as I went through the career anyway, not so much anymore, that switch kind of got stuck. It wasn't as easy. I remember when I was a new guy, I could easily like go to the kill house. All I want to do is kill. I'm just super aggressive. That's all I'm here to do. We leave the kill house, switch goes off. I'm back to being like a goofy, happy-go-lucky person. But I think over time it kind of got stuck, and that's when I really tried to turn into an asshole and develop that anxious, avoidant attachment style.
Yeah. That's wild stuff. I mean, again, I guess the reason for the question is, I came in 96, went through training in 97. I was out, in 08 before you were in, and it was like, not only did guys never talk about it, it's like it didn't seem like anybody even realized that there was ever a problem,
No, and they still don't.
Yeah. Or which, kind of almost begs the question, chicken or egg style, is that, is ignorance bliss to the point where it's like you don't even think about it, and it actually isn't a problem because you're just totally rolling with it, or are you just tamping shit down and it's going to come?
No, that's funny. I talked to this guy, Justin Hoagland, or Hoagie. He works for the SEAL Future Foundation. We had a long talk about that sort of thing, and he kind of equated it to jiu-jitsu for me. Like, when you first go in the gym, you're a big, strong, burly guy. You're aggressive because you were a team guy, and you're like, man, I'm like, this isn't that bad. Like, I'm not getting my ass beat. And then, like, you keep going. You're like, wait, And I remember saying this, like, I am like literally getting worse as I go. It's like, no, you're actually getting a lot better. Just the aperture is opening up the perception of like how much there is to learn. And then like, and so you feel like you're getting worse. And it's like that emotionally I was like, man, like I'm fine. And then I start going to therapy and then all this stuff kind of comes out. And you're like, I'm getting worse. Like I'm more depressed now than I was before. Like I wish I didn't do this. But then like, I just kind of remind myself that you're gonna come back up.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah. Moving into your childhood a little bit, what was your favorite thing to do growing up?
Well, I love soccer. That was like my thing.
You're from Vermont, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I lived up on a dirt road, like 4 miles from the main road, and I just, I remember just running down like down my road with like a soccer ball and just like dribble it all the way down, and then so I would do that a lot. And then I did it with a basketball when I got older. And then I like just play like Army, like outside. And then like in the evenings I'd play like Halo too with my friends in the Xbox. Or just by myself because I lived in the woods sometimes. I didn't have people up there, but my brother and I would play. And that'd be kind of it. And then if there was snow out, I would snowboard. I was always kind of into the outdoors stuff.
Is your brother younger or older?
He's younger, 18 months younger.
Did you actually play soccer?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I guess generally speaking, childhood-wise, how would you characterize your childhood, from the family dynamic to, any significant events that shaped your life, your path, your decision-making process to come into the Navy? Was there a catalyst? What can you tell us about that?
I'm not really sure because my maternal grandfather was in the Army. His dad was in the Army Air Corps or something, or the Air Force or something in World War II. And then my dad's uncle, I think it was in Vietnam. But that was it. And I've never met him. I couldn't point him out if he was in front of me. My grandfather talked about the Army. He would just tell me like the fun stories about it. But like I never really had like a military influence. But I remember being like in second grade, just like drawing like war scenes on like paper with like stick figures and stuff. And I was just always into it. And I liked movies. I liked like G.I. Joes and like toy soldiers and stuff. I just was always into the military. Then like I played Halo, and I remember like one time I'm like, I want to be Halo qualified, because I thought it was cool. It sounded cool. And then like I remember when I went through SQT jump, and I'm like, you're Halo qualified. I was like, I did it. So I like telling that. I think it's funny how it worked. But yeah, I don't really know like where that came. I didn't join until I was 21. But yeah, it never really went away.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure where it came from.
Yeah.
My brother would play stuff like that a little bit with me. My friends would play it a little bit with me. But like no one that I grew up with was like gung-ho about, I'm going to go be in the military.
Yeah.
Especially like a Navy SEAL. Like they're up until probably 5 or 6 years of me being in the teams, like when I would go home to Vermont, people like didn't believe that was a real thing. It's like, that's just a movie. It's like a superhero. And then people would ask me like, how long can you hold your breath? I'm like 30 seconds, like I could before I went to buds. like, and all these other just things, they just looked at me like so different. I'm like, I'm still like the same person.
Yeah.
At least I felt like it to me, I guess not to them, but it was interesting.
Yeah. How I guess overall, how would you characterize your childhood? Was it generally positive or?
Yeah, no, it was good. I felt loved, supported by my parents. My dad worked a lot.
What did he do?
Custom timber frames, construction.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah, super cool. I'm fascinated by what he does. It's incredible.
Does he still do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, he just worked really hard. Probably, definitely the hardest working man I've ever met. But his grandfather, or both. My grandfather I talked about who died on deployment, he was the same way. Like he he dug his whole foundation by hand with a shovel. I remember just like growing up, I did some foundation work, concrete work with one of my friend's dads. And he used to talk about my grandfather, like, yeah, Louis was like, he was crazy, but like in a different way. Like he dug a foundation, like a 1,700 square foot foundation, like 10 feet deep by hand.
Wow.
Like who does that, you know? And then built his whole house. So, and then my mom's grandfather, same thing, worked on the railroad. So I think, and I say that because all these men I was surrounded by just worked extremely hard. And I took that. I wasn't into the construction stuff. Like I said, I'm fascinated by what my dad did. The concrete stuff was super cool. Definitely like man shit. And I would do it with him, but it just wasn't what I wanted. And so I got that from them. And then my mom was loving and caring. We were more alike when I was younger. She liked basketball. She coached basketball a little bit too, and then she worked at a ski resort for a while. So I used to go to to work with her and my brother. We'd ski or snowboard or whatever. And then when I was in high school, I think it was, she started going to nursing school. So she was busy a lot too, very intensive. And then my dad would be working. So it forced my brother and I, like we still loved and cared for sure, but it was just different. I think that we were forced to kind of figure things out on our own a lot more.
Yeah.
Like kind of lost the ability to ask questions, which was tough, but at the same time, like very, very thankful for. Like I can solve things pretty quickly without much stress. Like I was saying earlier, like pretty grounded in like everything. The only thing that really stresses me out is women. I remember, and I say that because one time I noticed like other people get super stressed out about things. Not really team guys, but just regular people. I have an Airbnb in Norfolk, and my cleaner, who's my neighbor, called me like, well, I was at the gym, I was training, and I just had like 8 missed phone calls, like a bunch of texts, and I'm just like, freaking house is on fire or something. And I finally like look at my phone in between like a round, because I'm like, well, if it's burned down, like, fuck it, I'm gonna keep rolling. I'm not a firefighter. I did a little bit in boot camp, but that's not gonna be enough. So,
folks, just a quick heads up. I do have a Team Dog Patreon tier where I answer questions via video, either just describing the answer to the question or even demonstrating some of it. So go to our Mic Drop Patreon page, check out the Team Dog tier, and I look forward to seeing you in there. Thank you much.
I look at it and I'm like, what's going on? She's like, somebody broke into your house, like stuff's missing and the fence is down. And I'm like, all right. Like, it's like my son was with me. I was like, all right, champ, let's go. Daddy's gonna go fix the house. And he's like, okay. So I'm gonna pick him up, go to the car, drive like 30 minutes to that house. And like, the screen was like ripped because it was super windy and like the fence was down. And she's like freaking out. I'm like, hey, it's okay. Like, I'm gonna go grab a drill, some screws, and like a 2x4 or two from my house, and I'll have this thing up in like 30 minutes. And I remember that happened, and I was just like so thankful. Like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you for giving me a problem that is just so easy to solve, that I can just do it right now and go about my day. And, seeing her like mind melt. I'm like, I appreciate you caring, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And I have other examples too of stuff like that, but I've always enjoyed things like that, just solving problems and like seeing other people kind of like get bothered and stressed, and I'm just like, here I go. And I tie that into the jiu-jitsu thing too, and the look for work thing, just like, hey, just keep moving, trial by fire, like you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And and I learned that from my dad. I used to work with him, and I'd see him. There was a couple times I'd work with him, and he would have me help him do something. Like I would be in the Bobcat, like lifting up a freaking 200-300 pound like 8 foot long beam to like lift it up, and then he'd like climb up on a ladder like a little monkey and like hook in something, and then like get down, do it over there. And I'm like, I remember sitting there one time like, how the hell does he do this without someone else? He can barely do it now with me. Like, am I slowing him down? Like, how does he, because I see the other ones that he did, like, previous to me being here. I didn't work with him every day. And I'm just like, that's wild.
Did you ever ask him?
No, I was just like, that was a downfall. Like, I didn't really know how to ask him questions. Just like, I'll just watch.
Yeah.
But and there's a ton of stuff that he would do. I'm just like, this is like, that's what I'm saying, fascinating. His work is immaculate. Like, the attention to detail is unmatched by anything I've ever seen. But like, the problem solving and innovation that he had really inspired me. And then when I would go through the teams, and that was kind of it, like, you know. And then that's when I found out about FitFo. I'm like, what's that mean? Oh, figure it the fuck out. I'm like, I'm trying. What's it mean? And then just like look at me and like smile. I'm like, and then I found out later. I'm like, oh, that's what it means. So, but yeah, so it helped me a lot, in a way. And then it didn't sometimes, because there was another new guy who I still don't like to this day. But he was the opposite. He'd ask questions he knew the answers to, just so he could like, look at me, I'm trying to learn. And there's different cultures within the platoons. I'm sure it was the same when you're in, like, some people were like, oh, let me help you because you're new and dumb. And then some people are like, you're an idiot. Turn the radio on. That's why it doesn't work. You know, so I was just like, I'm going to figure this thing out. And I will only ask a question when I have zero idea of what to do. And I don't feel bad about it because this is all new to me. And if they make fun of me for it, which they usually did, I was like, I'd rather have them make fun of me for exhausting all options than never trying and asking. Yeah. So
end up being spoon-fed.
Yeah.
Was there any traumatic experiences growing up?
I don't think so. Not really, no.
I am curious what you did between graduating and joining the military. Did you go to school, or?
No, I was a shithead.
Like, in what way?
All the ways. I was kind of lost cause, honestly. I went through like kind of like a semi-private school, 7th through 11th grade, real small school, super liberal, even back then, which before all this stuff now. And I just was like, this is weird. And I wanted something else. So I asked to move to a public school, which I don't regret by any means, but it was definitely a huge transition for me then, because I went from these, you know, like as a senior, I was reading books in like my English class that I read in like 8th and 9th grade, and like, oh, there is a vast difference in like education between these two schools. And like when the school I went to, Sharon, or TSA we called it, was like basically like if your goal was to finish high school and go to college. If you didn't do that, it was like you had failed. Went to public school, that was not the case. It was just like, you need to graduate, pay your lunch bill, and get out of here. And I say that because they're like, if you didn't pay your lunch bill, you're not getting your diploma signed. And there was a couple kids who didn't pay their lunch bill. I thought I was one of them. I remember I opened it up, I'm like, oh, thank God. And then, yeah, so I was around a lot of different type of people. Where I was from a sending town in Vermont, so we didn't have to pay tuition, but a lot of these other kids did. So, and it was expensive.
You say a sending town?
That's what they called it.
What
yeah, like we only had an elementary school, so you got to pick basically what middle school or high school you wanted to go to. That's why I was able to switch from this private school to a public school. But yeah, and so I finished high school barely. I think the only A's I ever got was in gym class. Like I literally barely passed. I just didn't like it. And then I had a cast on my wrist for like 9 months, I think, from like March to November or so, because I broke my scaphoid, and then in 8th grade snowboarding, the doctors told me it was like just a sprain or whatever. And then it just was getting worse and like creaking, popping. It still does. It might pick it up on the mic actually. And I got an MRI finally, and like, oh, it's like there's a cyst in it, like the bone's rotting. So they took a piece of bone out of my iliac crest, put it in there and like pinned it around, and then I was in a cast like up to here, above the elbow, for 9 months. And so I couldn't really do a whole lot. I wanted to go to college just to play sports, but I couldn't do any of that. And then so I went and worked at a hotel, the Woodstock Inn Resort in Woodstock, Vermont, and I was a houseman. So it's like I helped the housekeepers, and didn't really make any money there, like, at all. So I had a key to like all the rooms. So, and it's a pretty fancy place, so a lot of celebrities would stay there. So people would always leave like tips in the rooms, and I'd like go into the rooms. I'd see who had checked out, and if it wasn't set to get cleaned that day, or if it was, but the housekeepers were coming down, I'd like go in there and like take the money. I'm like, well, I work here too. It's a tip for me too, because I help them. And but it's just shady stuff like that. And so I did that, and then I started selling drugs. And that started by my brother used to do like scrap runs, so he'd go find like old cars, wash machines, like just junk metal, and load it up, and then bring it to the junk and like get paid. And one time my friend and I drove down somewhere. He was looking at this car that he was thinking about buying. He didn't want it, but we were there, and we were about to leave, and the dude who he was selling the car was like, hey, would you mind just like hanging out? There's some people coming up from Springfield, Mass that seem kind of sketchy, and like, I don't want to be here alone. And we were like shooting skeet earlier that day, so we're like, yeah, we got this. So we had like a shotgun in the back, and then like I just got a high point pistol, like the most junky pistol ever made. It's like $150, weighed like 20 pounds, and held like 6 rounds, single stack. It was funny. But anyway, so we're like, yeah, sure. Like, check this out, we're ready. And a couple like wannabe gangsters, like rednecks at the same time in Vermont. It was funny. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. These guys show up. They were super sketchy. They didn't want the car either, so they had left. And then he was like, hey, can I see that gun again? I was like, sure. And so he looks at it, but he like grabs like a bandana and is like holding it. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, well, I don't want my fingerprints on it. I'm like, you think I'm gonna just take this and go shoot someone because you put your fingerprints on it? Like, okay. And he's like, I'm just being cautious. I'm like, all right, whatever, take a look at it. So he does, and he's like, can I take a picture of it? I'm like, why? Like, just cause. I'm like, I want to send it to my brother. He buys guns. And I'm like, okay, I need money. Sure, send it to him. So he takes the picture, sends it to him. I get his brother's number. I meet up with his brother a couple days later in like a Shaw's grocery parking lot. Shaw's is like a Harris Teeter or whatever. And I had my friend come with me. I had him like sit on the hood, and like this dude got in the car, and he looks at the gun. He's like, yeah, I want it. I'm like, cool, $250. I was like, I just made $100 like easy. He's like, well, what if I give you like 200 and I give you some ecstasy? I was like, I don't know what that is. I'd never even seen weed at this point. Like, I never was exposed to any drugs at all. My parents like barely drank, super like clean and all that. So I was like, well, I don't know what that is. He's like, these sell for like $40, $50 a tab. He's like, and I'll give you 4 of them at like $10 a piece. I was like, whatever. I'm still making money like off this gun, which I don't even like anyway. So sure. So I sell him the gun. He gives me these 4 tabs. He's like, and then before he got out, he's like, save my number, because I guarantee you're going to call me probably tonight or tomorrow and say that you want more. I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't even know what these are. I don't do drugs, so how would I can't even try it out. I went back to the town I hung out in we used to call it the P lot. It was just like this parking lot where everyone just hung out. I had a bunch of friends that were there because that's what we did. And I was like, yo, who wants ecstasy? Like literally just yelling it in the parking lot, because I didn't know any idea what this was. People were like, dude, what is that? No one ever even heard of it. And then finally, this girl I was really good friends with, she had cystic fibrosis. She's dead now, but she was like, I'll try it. Like, let's do it. And I was like, here you go. And then my friend, who was with me when I first met the guy and his brother, he's like, well, let's split it and we'll try it. So she's like, how much? And I was like, $40. She's like, okay. I was like, damn, he wasn't kidding. So she gives me $40. They split it. Like 10 minutes later, the two of them are having the best time of their life. He's like jumping in this dumpster. There was construction going on, this old church they were renovating. He's jumping in this dumpster like full of plywood and stuff and just having a blast. She had a big lifted truck and she like opened the door, fell out, smashed her face, blood coming down. Everyone runs over because she was a little girl and they're like, and they knew she had, a CF. Are you okay? And they roll her over. She's just laughing. She's like, this is awesome. And then people are like, what did you give him? Like, I got ecstasy. And they're like, I want it. And then I sold 2 more right then. And I held on. I'm like, I'm not selling this last one, like, so I can compare, like, to the next time. So I get in, there's no service there. And I had like a flip track phone. I drive up to where there's service. And I call him. And he's just like, I knew you'd call me. I was like, I need more. When can we meet? And he's like, all right. And then we met up. I took all the money from the gun and what I sold from that and started buying ecstasy. I started selling ecstasy for a couple months. And then, I started meeting people who do drugs like all the time. And then a lot of people did opiates. And I was like, hey, the ecstasy's cool. Like, people are doing it, but like, this is what people want. Can you get it? He's like, I don't know what that is. I've never really sold that, just because he went to college and just sold like a college party drug. But he had some friends in Canada that worked, had like connections to the mafia, he said, who had like a backdoor access to a pharmaceutical company. And I was like, I need like blue M boxes, like these Percocet 30s. And he's like, I'll see what I can do. And then he brought me a bag. We met at a gas station time. He brought me 150 pills and just fronted them to me for $25 a piece. And I was selling them for like, my friends for like $35, but usually $40, $45 a piece. And then I started to like really make some money. I was still working at the hotel, making, like $8 an hour. I mean, I'd go sell 1 pill and it's like, I just made in 8 hours what I could just sold in 5 minutes, and then it kind of grew from there. And then I started selling cocaine. Then I started selling, there was a guy at a hotel who like sold mushrooms. So I started selling mushrooms. Then I started selling weed. I had a friend who had like an Adderall prescription. I like bought Adderall from him. Like if I could buy a drug to resell, I would. And that's what I would do. The only thing I never touched was like meth or heroin, but that was it. Like pretty much everything else I did, or like mainstream things I did. And so that's how I made money for a while. That lasted a couple months, and like I said, I was a little shithead. I turned into like just not a good person, just super greedy, sketchy. I did pills a little bit because the girl I was hanging out with who pretended that she liked me really just wanted the pills. Like I would do them with her, but like I didn't really like it. I'm not like I don't have like any addiction like that. So it was weird, but I was just like, whatever, like hopefully she likes me because I'm a drug dealer. And I was like, I want to be like Scarface. That was like my goal. And then, I started to get up there and I skipped the cool part of it and went to like the end. And somebody tried to rob me, put a gun to my head in my car. But it was like this big ass like revolver.
Dirty, hairy gun.
Yeah, literally. It was like this massive gun. And he was like a little dude, so it was like hard to, and he's like, he's like, give me all your drugs. Because I was supposed to meet him and sell Oxycontin 80s. And I had like 50 of them. And I was selling for like $100 a piece. So I was like, like this is a lot. So this is a lot of money right now. But I remember looking, and it wasn't cocked, and I'm like, this dude's not gonna shoot me in the head. Like, he's just trying to scare me. So I went to like, I was like, my wallet's right here, because I was like, everything's in the trunk. He's like, why is it in the trunk? I'm like, because in case something like this happens, we have to get out. And like, which wasn't true. They were literally right next to me, in a Capri Sun like wrapper. Like the pill bottle was in the wrapper of that, and so he like looked down as I went to like grab my wallet, and I just like hammer fisted him back with the back of my hand to his face, and like we just started fighting. I jumped out of the car, give me all your drugs. Fighting, I got on top of him, and I had no idea how to fight at all at this point. And then he had 2 friends that got out, and like they stretched me out, grabbed my hands over my head and my feet, and then I remember one guy was about to like hit me in the face, and then my friend was with me. He was in the back, but they didn't see him because it was night, and I had like 5% tint in my back window. So he jumped out, jumped on him, like they skedaddled, got in their car, started driving, and I was just like, no one does this to me. You don't fuck with me. And then I start following them, and he's just like, Alex, please, like, stop. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. I was like, no, you're not getting away with this. Like, I'm gonna fucking kill these motherfuckers right now. And I was like dead serious. And
all right, guys, let me level with you here. If there's one thing that I do know, it's that showing up matters for your family, your teammates, your business, and your country. But a while back, I hit a wall. My nights were wrecked, I was tossing, turning, no real deep sleep, and my days were even worse. That's when I found Beam's Dream Powder. Beam is proudly founded in America and run by people who share our values: hard work, integrity, and delivering results. When I found Dream, everything changed. I started sleeping through the night without tossing and turning, and I woke up energized, not groggy. It's been an absolute game changer for me. Now here's what's inside. A powerful blend of reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin. It's designed to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up ready to perform. No next day fog, no shortcuts, no junk, just results. And it tastes damn good. It's become part of my nightly routine. I put Beam's Dream Powder to the test, and the first night was lights out in minutes. A week in, and I had sharper focus, more patience at home, and the energy to attack the day instead of limping through it. Now here's the deal. Beam has already logged 17.5 million better nights of sleep for people who refuse to settle. Beam is giving my listeners the ultimate Patriot discount of up to 40% off. You can try their best-selling Dream Powder and get up to 40% off for a limited time only. So if you use my discount code, which is MicDrop, all caps, all one word, you can get their best-selling Dream Powder for just $39. Go to shopbeam.com/MicDrop and use the code MicDrop, all caps, all one word, at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/MicDrop and use the code MicDrop for up to 40% off.
we followed him for like 30 minutes. I'm like calling people like, yo, I need you right now. Like, we're gonna kill some people. And I remember we pulled down in this thing, and as we pull in, my friend Matt was like, dude, don't go down there. Like, this doesn't feel right. Like, that's a dead end. And I was like, perfect. There's no way out. So we pull in there. They stop. They get out. Another car pulls in behind. There's like 4 people behind me. 3 guys in front. And I'm just like, oh shit. And like, they got bats. They have the guns still. And I'm like, this isn't good. There's no service there. Guy ripped the door handle off, was pounding on the window, couldn't break it, luckily. And then they backed out. We started to leave. I was like, I wanted to pit him. I didn't know how to do that, but I remember like I watched movies, and I'm like, hang on. Matt's just like, don't do this. I was like, hang on. And I just freaking rip off like my bumper. It's underneath my car. Like, ruin this dude's tire. We pull up in this gas station. I like jump out. It's like February. I run out. I grab this like ice pick, and I like this long thing with like a blade at the end. And I'm like, I start running at his car. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking kill you right now. And then they got out and they ran away. The lady at the gas station runs out. I was like, what's going on? I'm like, these motherfuckers just tried to rob me. And she's like, there's cameras here. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, shit. My car doesn't really run right now because I tried to pit somebody and didn't know how to do it. And so I parked the car. I had a big like rucksack in the back with like 15 pounds of weed. I had the 50 pills of Oxycontin, and then like $5,000 in cash. I just like stuff it all in there, run behind the store down like this hill through like 3 feet of snow, climb up on top of a train that was there because there was a grain mill where they dropped shit off, and I like throw it on top of that, run back up, like kind of throwing snow over my footprints and stuff. And they're like, the cops are coming. So I go call my brother. I'm like, hey, like something happened. I need you to come down to Cumbies. My car's here, but go behind the gas station, down the hill, on top of the train. There's a bag. I need, like, grab it and like hide it. And he's like, all right. I'm like, don't look in it. I don't want you involved in this, but just I need you to grab that bag for me. He's like, okay. So then go to the police station, give like a statement. They're like, what were you doing? I'm like, oh, I tried to buy weed and like he robbed me. And but I remember I told him, they're like, what's your name? And I was like, Alex Rogers. And he like was writing, and he just kind of looked up and he goes, you're Alex Rogers? Like, yeah. He's like, okay. And then he went back to writing, and I was just like,
They knew who you were?
yeah.
Wow.
And then my parents came. They were like beyond shook. And then I had my phone. When I got out, I got a text from my friend Brittany, who knew the guy who tried to rob me. Like indirectly, she knew. She's like, hey, his name was Rich. He's like, Rich just texted me and like wants to know your address. He said he left his wallet, your car. She's like, I thought you didn't even know him. I'm like, I was like, he just tried to rob me, like by gunpoint. I'm at the police station. I was like, do not tell him anything. She's like, I wouldn't do that, but like, I just want to let you know. And then my mom's just like, we got to go. Let's go home. And I'm just like, we can't go home. It's not safe. And she just starts crying. She's like, what is going on with you? And then that is when it really hit me. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm so fucked up and so lost. Like, I wanted to be the Tony Montana of like central Vermont. I did it. Okay? Time to pull chocks and get out of here. So, yeah, I stopped doing that. For a while, I kind of was like a middleman. I would like get I would just do the Percocet because that's how I made the most amount of money. I'd get that, and then like I had a couple different people I would give them to, and they'd sell it. A couple of them ended up just ripping me off, and then I like lost money. And then I was just like, I can't do this shit anymore. And then left drugs and everything behind. I smoked weed a little bit, but not a whole lot after that. And I didn't really drink. Started working at a ski resort. Made snow. It was like one of the hardest things I've ever done. It was really good. It was kind of a cleanse for me. When that finished, my grandfather, my mom's dad, like I said, he worked in the railroad. He got me a job in Vermont, like a northern Vermont, and I started just making, like, replacing tracks as like a general laborer. Literally the hardest thing I've ever done, like harder than buttons.
Like physically,
yeah, just nonstop, like 18 hours a day, just swinging a freaking 12-pound sledgehammer. You do that for 8 hours, then you flip plates from literally like pick up like a 5-pound plate up from here and put it over here, and you do that for like a mile. Then you get back with the rest of the guys who were like moving the track over, like removing the old track that was like pieces, probably like 200 feet long, and then they're replacing like a seamless one that they would just weld.
Those guys got to have crushing grips.
Oh yeah, those. Well, some of them were into like the drugs and the alcohol, and like did not take care of their bodies at all. I kind of use it as like, I'm just like, this is my sober cleanup, like cleanse myself. I was kind of fat from like doing pills and eating just junk food all the time, like going to gas stations and shit. And I lost like 20 pounds in like 3 weeks. I still have them. I have stretch marks like on my inside of my arm. Like my arms got so big because there was these buckets of like the nails that you put in the railroad or in the ties. And I used to, like when I first started, I could kind of barely pick it up and like throw it. And then like towards the end, because you had to do it every morning, and we worked 12 days on and then like 6 days off. So it was a pretty cool schedule. But by the end of it, I was like literally picking these things up and like throwing them like they were basketballs. And I was like, I am so freaking strong. This is ridiculous. I lost a bunch of weight. I started to look like a man. I wasn't like a baby faced little kid anymore. I just got weathered like real quick. Remember my mom came up to like bring me dinner one night, and I remember was walking back to my hotel room just like nodding out. I was so tired. And she's just like, Alex? I was like, huh? She's like, oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm just tired. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I brought you food. Like, remember you told? I'm like, oh, right. She's like, you don't look like you. You look like a man. I'm like 19. And so I did that for a while. And then, you know, I'm an asshole, and I'm from Vermont, and almost all the crew is from West Virginia. So I was a fucking Yankee. I'm like, dude, that shit ended like 300 years ago. Like, chill out. And whatever. So I just split ties with them, and just did stuff with my dad, did some like landscaping, yard work stuff, and then was still just like, I'm lost. My dad was always just like, you need a plan, you need to do something. My brother like worked too. He had his own like lawn care business, TCR lawn care, and was doing like the scrapping. So, you know, he dipped, and that was it. He didn't get into drugs or anything. And I was just like, I don't know what to do, you know. And I was like, and then one of my really good friends was talking to the Marine Corps recruiter. I'm like, I want to do that. I'm like, that sounds cool. So I started talking to the recruiter. We started doing everything, and then he saw this tattoo on my wrist. It was just like, you can't do it. Like, I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you can't have anything below like the elbow. Like, that's disqualifying. I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm really sorry. I'm like, damn. And then my friend Josh had a big old like freaking like leopard or like a jaguar on his arm, and he went in. And I'm like, dude, how did you get that? He's like, well, they gave me a waiver. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you would have had to say you were like 14. He's like, yeah, we did. The recruiter like said I got the tattoo at 14 so I could get in. I'm like, what? And I was like really upset, and just was crushed, honestly. It was like, that's all I wanted to do, is just go in the military. And I liked the recruiter. He seemed cool, which of course they're supposed to. But and I remember Josh came back from boot camp. You know, Marine Corps boot camp's like really long. He came back. We went and got dinner, and at the time I thought this was really cool. Now I'm like, why would you do that? But he was wearing like his Marine Corps like PT gear. And I've never like been jealous of anybody, but in that moment I was just like so happy, but like furious at the same time. Like, that should be me. And then I went and tried again with the Army. They didn't care about it, and so I went to do my ASVAB with them, did like all this other stuff, and was gonna like go in the Army. And I was like, I want to be a Green Beret, and they're like, well, you can't, because like the 18 X-ray program, I guess, didn't exist at the time. I'm like, well, what about a Ranger? And like, well, you got to be like infantry for a couple years first. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to be Halo qualified, remember? And they're like, well, I don't tell you. I'm like, all right, I guess that's what I'll do. So I remember I was walking out of the recruiter's office in Barrie, Vermont, and it was like a recruiting depot, and something just stopped me. And as I had my hand like on the cross beam of the door, and I turned around, I locked eyes on the SEAL pamphlet. Out of all of them, I was just like, what is this? Because again, like, no one knows what these are. They're not real. It's just in a movie. And I loved Tears of the Sun. That was like my favorite movie growing up. And I was like, wait, I'm 18. I don't have any felonies. I got a high school diploma. I can pass this PST. Like, I can do this. So I called my friend on my little flip phone. I'm like, hey, his name was Alex. So I'm like, Alex, I'm going to be a Navy SEAL. He's just like, yeah, okay. I'm like, I am. A couple days later, I went down to the recruiter's office, told him, basically laughed in my face. He's like, yeah, you and everyone else. I was like, well, I'm going to do it. He's like, all right, I'll connect you with the recruiter. So, or the scout. And Well, he wasn't a motivator yet. He was just a scout. He was I think he was AM1. I don't even know his name. That's just what he was. Let's call him by his rate. And started talking with him. He came, met me. We did a PST at the Vermont Technical College in Randolph, VTC, and I did my push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, run, swim. I did like 9 pull-ups, 57 shitty push-ups, 57 sit-ups. He's like, I'm gonna start calling you Heinz. I was like, why? He's like, Heinz 57. I was like, funny. And then I do my my swim. He's like, you know how to do combat side stroke? I'm like, no. I didn't even know how to swim. I know how to save my life. I didn't know what freestyle
how
was.
it kept from drowning.
Yeah. So he's like, all right, just do 10 laps. I'm like, all right, cool. So I did it. I took breaks in between. I got 11:21. I was like, well, I passed. It's 12:30 is the score. And then we go do the run. I had a 10:30 something for a mile and a half. He's like, well, you technically passed everything, but that is nowhere near competitive. He's like, you need to be 15, 80, 80, 9, 9. That's what you should be going for. And I was like, okay. And then it took me a while because I was really strong and I kind of worked out, but I didn't really know what I was doing. I was always into fitness, but didn't know anything. And then that's kind of all I did for a while. I would work a little bit, but my priority was just doing PSTs and training for PSTs and meeting with the motivator, who was an active duty SO1. Then there was retired SEAL Master Chief, Bill Atkinson. I don't know if you ever met him. He was actually from Vermont too, a long time ago, which was nice. So he liked me because of that. And I started doing PSTs and drown proofing and all this other stuff. Did kind of what you could equate now to a seminar on swimming. And then I ended up getting picked up, I think February of 2013. I took a PST the beginning of February, had pneumonia, did okay with the strength stuff, but just bombed the run and the swim. And they're like, hey, you're gonna try again in 10 days. I know you're sick, just trying to take care of yourself. Let's redo this. I was like, all right. So I remember there was a few times for a couple days after, I'm just gonna run this out of me. I would put ankle weights on and a backpack and just run through the snow down my road and just
Brilliant.
torture myself. Went and did my PST, got 14, 90 something, a 8:37 run, fastest I've ever ran, and then a 8:07 swim, and they're like, what happened? I'm like, oh, this is for real. I got picked up, got my BUDS contract, went to boot camp 2013, and
Smooth sailing through BUDS.
Yep, straight through. I broke my thumb in combatives and multiple attackers and SQT, so I graduated with 305, had a 1-class roll, med roll, but yeah, other than that, all the way through.
I mean, it's quite the path,
yeah.
Going from.
Yeah, I just talked a lot.
No, that's the whole point. But almost a Leave It to Beaver kind of childhood by comparison, and then going full swing the other way into drugs, and it's amazing that fork in the road where you chose to get on the path.
Yeah.
It's you were one decision away from, probably being in jail or in a gutter or,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You were right on the cusp. I mean, that's an amazing story of resilience, really. I mean, going back to, I guess the BUDS experience, just because I've had obviously a number of team guys on, but
yeah.
I'm always fascinated by kind of the expectation versus reality, whether it's Tears of the Sun, the pamphlet, doing the research, talking to motivators, everybody has this idea of what BUDS is going to be like. Was it what you thought it was going to be, or was there anything that surprised you, either was harder than you thought or easier than you thought?
I didn't really go in with any expectations. I read, I forget the name of it, but the book, Dick Couch wrote a book about BUDS. There are some stories in there about funny stories about guys swimming with getting bit, their fins bit by sharks and hanging off a ladder on a helicopter flying over the bay at 50 miles an hour because the pilot's sitting near there. So I read about that, and then I read a little bit about some of the stuff, the evolutions in buds, but that was like an older book. So it was like when Buds was in Virginia Beach and they're talking about like breaking the ice and golf courses and making guys like dive down and like find find balls. So I kind of like really overhyped it in my head in a lot of ways. So there wasn't anything really that blew me away. Nothing ever got in my head too much, except for the 50 meter, which was like, I think we did day 2 or day 3 at Buds. And I remember remember thinking it was later on. I barely did the 25. Like, I wasn't kidding. My breath hold was not good. Never has been. I barely did the 25 like in like dive mow and boot camp, and then in prep, like we do like 30 meter, and then in basic orientation before you start Buds, we did like a 35, and like I barely made it. And I remember when they're like, all right, we're doing the 50 meter today, I was just like, this is it. Like, this is where my Buds career like ends. Like, I'm not gonna make it. Like, I'll pass out underwater. I know I will not come up. I refuse. But like, I don't think I can make this. Like, I truly believed I couldn't. I remember, and you jump in, hold your nose, do your flip, can't kick off the wall, swim down. I remember I hit the wall. I'm like, okay, cool, this is good. And then everyone's just like, stay low, as close to the pool deck as you can. Some of the rollbacks were like, there's little holes in the bottom of the pool deck, like you can kind of put your finger in and like pull, gives yourself a little speed. So I'm like, okay. And you do it without goggles. So I'm like trying to find these holes, and I'm like, and it's 15 feet deep. And I started at the bottom, and I remember I was just about to kind of black out, and I like gave a big push and just like, hopefully I can touch the wall and like, and come up and do it, get away with it. But I truly didn't think I could. And I remember I hit the wall, and I lifted my head, and like the water was probably like right here. But so I like came up. So I was just like biggest breath of my life. And I was like, oh, I feel fine. And then I like kind of held on the pool deck for a second. And I think it was my proctor, Ryan Sangster, was just like, get the fuck out. And I'm like, and I was so out of it. I was like, hold on a second. He's like, what the fuck did you say to me? And I was just like, and then they all run over and they're like, get the fuck out now. And I'm like, oh God. Like, and I like crawl up, and they're like, get up. And I'm like, fuck. And you just see everyone who like passes is just like, oh, thank God. Like, so happy that like you get to go over with them. And then there's like the guys who haven't gone yet, who are just like, oh no, like this is not good. And then there's the guy who's fail, who's just like, you just killed their entire family and their dog.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I made it.
Yeah.
And I remember it was such a huge relief. I remember like, all right, well, I got this from here on out. If I could do that, I'm good.
So, I mean, with that kind of struggle in the 50 meter underwater, pool comp wasn't a similar challenge?
It was, but it was different. I did fine all the way through the OCs 1 through 7. I had one mess up with like OC4 with like a goggle thing. It wasn't like, it was just a lack of procedures. It wasn't like a freak out or anything like that. OC8, I think I got in my head about it. I think we did 2 attempts the first day, and then had like a break into the third later, or I had lunch. Because I remember the first one, it was like a minute 15. I was just like, that's not good. Like, they pulled me up. They're just like, nah, bro, like, you're done. And then I did the second one, and I was just, and they're like, well, we're not really giving out roles right now for OC8. And then this is when I truly discovered like the power of visualization. I think we did those 2, went to lunch, ran across the street to, Gator Galley. And I remember running back, like kind of doing half the run back, like kind of my eyes closed and just like running through, like, doing like the thing and whatever. And I like visualized 3 problems, the banana knot where they put the thing between the 2 twin 80s. And then like, they're like, everyone was like, you'll know when you get the whammy knot, like you'll know. And funny enough, we'd had like, I think 2 or 3 problems, And then they did the banana knot, and I was just like being underwater, being like, okay, like this is that again kind of calmed me down, because it's like I already did it in my head once. And then this Matt Watterson, real weirdo, STV guy. He was like, he spent literally more than half of his career underwater. It was wild. It's like 13, 14 hours a day underwater, and gave us like this STV brief, and I'm like, I don't ever want to do that. But he was my instructor, and which will make sense in a second when I get to it. But I remember you did the banana knot, hit me a couple times with like the surf hit or whatever they call it, and then whammy knot. Like it was a good probably 30, 40 seconds, or that's what it felt like. I don't know how long it actually was, because I was super hypoxic already. And I remember, if you have looked down and put your thumb out to like, I'm done, I can't do this. And I remember so clear even now, I kind of got my hand to like right here, almost straight out. And then he stopped. And I quickly just went and did it. Like I knew it was a whammy knot already. So I took it off, start messing with it, like try to get like a sip of air, nothing's coming out, and like take off my weight belt, like, kiss the thing, blow the bubbles all the way up, and just like, same thing. And he's like, looks at me, and I was like, I feel fine. And then I like, kind of like spit up pink frothy sputum, I'm like, oh no, I got it. I have AGE, like I'm gonna die a terrible death. And I like spit it up, and I'm like, oh, pink frothy sputum. He's like, you're fine. And they look at the grader who's there like underneath the little table. And they're like, what was the time? And 20 minutes was passing. Like if you go over, you fail, even if you pass. And they're like, it's like 21:02 or something. And he just looks at me and he goes, Rogers, 1909, pass. And I was just like, thank you. He's like, don't thank me. I was like, do you have any tips for how I can like hold my breath longer? And he's like, he laughed. He's like, you'll literally never have to do anything like that ever again. I was like, okay. And he was like chill. He was super weird, but he was chill. And I swam and got out, and same thing, go back with the guys who passed, who are just like, oh my God, like we made it. Like, because before that, it was like 80% of you are going to fail or are going to be out, like before Hell Week. And then after that, like, I forget what the odds were. They talked about like up till pool comp. And then like basically if you pass pool comp, like you have like a 90% chance of making it.
Yeah.
So we're all like, okay, like it's still a long ways to go, but like there's no more like big tests. And so we were all like super elated by that. And yeah, so I didn't know what to expect with that. But again, the visualization really helped a lot. And I remember hearing about it all the time throughout like Bud's Prep and my motivators and Dive-Mo and DAP and everything would talk about it. So yeah, that was probably the biggest thing, the water stuff.
Yeah.
I remember when I started Hell Week, I wasn't really nervous because I was like, well, you don't really have to perform necessarily. You just have to shut up and do what you're told and don't quit. You definitely want to perform, like you can get dropped, but like you don't have to, there's nothing like, you don't have to do anything crazy. Just endure it. And it was just like the sooner, and I remember other people were like, the sooner you accept that it's just going to suck, but it will end, like the better off you'll be. And I got to that point probably like Tuesday, maybe Tuesday morning or late Monday night. I'm not sure. I feel like I got to it like fairly quickly. And then, yeah, we started with 62 and finished with 28. And that's what other guys would say too. Like once you just kind of accept, like don't quit and just do enough to move to the next thing. Don't overextend yourself because you can't.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
So then it was pretty smooth sailing otherwise? No.
Yeah, I hated second phase. our class hated second phase. I was the comic for it, and they hated us. Like first phase liked us, second phase just hated us, and so we made the class rock. I painted it gold and did the laugh now, cry later faces, like the masks. I put that on there and I wrote laugh now, cry later, and they like hated that. And they're like, what is this? It's like, well, that's what we do, because we laugh about everything. We got beat all the time by them. And then one of my favorite comic that I did was like, second phase is like a dick. It can get harder, but it'll never get longer. And that was it. And then we check into third phase, and they start off like hating us. Like second phase said you guys were terrible, like you're the worst class ever. So they like hammered us pretty good the first like week or so. And then we went out to Morena for land nav. They started to like us a little more until one dude fell asleep on watch. That was not fun. That's probably the second coldest I've ever been in my life. And then after we went to the island, and then the instructors actually like really liked us, and we had a really fun third phase. Like I enjoyed third phase a lot. We had a really fun class party. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. You said you're a comic, like you're good at drawing?
No, not really. I was okay, I suppose. But that was such a stressful job, because I did that through first phase through, I think, third phase.
Yeah.
I did it. And it was cool because like you didn't have to do some of the other stupid stuff, like syrops or clean certain things. But it was like, but our instructors were like super heavy on the comics. So like if you had a bad comic, you had a bad day, like the whole class did. So it was like there was an immense amount of pressure on you. And then in first phase, there was a couple comics that got fired by the class or the cadre, or they got beat so bad that they quit. Damn. There was one guy, I forget his first name, his last name was Roberts. He was a comic. He was actually really good. And the instructors would tell him to draw dicks, like hide the dicks in the comics. So he would do that.
Easter egg dicks.
And he would, and then Master Chief Lash was in charge of first phase. And I like loved that guy, but was so terrified of him. Like I was like, when I grow up, I want to be like him. He's like so cool. And we were getting beat in the grinder one day, like doing grinder PT, and they're like, where's Roberts? And he like pops up and goes over there, and they just circle him, and they're like looking at the comic. And he's like, is there a dick in here? And he's like, no, there's not. And the instructors who told him to draw a dick were like, yes, there is. It's right here. It's in this palm tree. And to this day, I don't know if there was or not, but they're like one more, like the comic tomorrow better not, Master Chief Lash said, there better not be a dick in this comic tomorrow, or I will beat you until you're done. You quit. And he's just like, okay. And then he went into the office to do whatever. And the instructors were like, if there's not a dick in that comic tomorrow, we'll beat you until you quit. And I'm just being like, I don't ever want that. Like, that is terrible. And yeah, he
was there a dick or no?
He gone. I don't know. I mean, either way, he was screwed. And I remember he was just like, I'm fucked. Yeah. Like, what am I supposed to do? Yeah. You know, like they told me they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And
if it were me, I would side with the cadre, because there's more of them and a looser leash, sure. And like.
So it probably was, but I don't know. Master Chief Lash was terrifying.
Yeah,
he was. But so I took over as comic after that, like literally the next day, and we went to we were at the pool deck, and I was like somehow got part of like the welcoming crew for like when the cadre comes up, like you gotta yell out the hoo-ya instructor, whatever. So we do all that, and Eric Carney was one of the funniest dudes I ever met, like in the teams. I love that guy. He liked me too. I don't know why, but he did. He's like, hey, Master Chief, this is Roberts. This is a cartoon guy who draws dicks all the time, and he just looks at me like snarls, like, that ain't him. He quit. And then he kept walking, and Chief Carney just looks at me, just smiles and nods. I was like, why are you doing that? He's like, it's funny. And that was it. And then I did my, drown proofing thing with Chief Carney later, and he was like super chill about it.
Yeah.
But it was cool. Then I remember seeing him throughout the rest of the time. Like when I was he went to Team 5 after, and I remember seeing him and he was just always a cool, like hilarious dude. But yeah, that was like the worst it ever was. There was one comic I put my heart and soul into. I spent hours on it. There was an instructor who had like a pretty heavy lisp. So, and then we called him Sid the Sloth. And so I drew like a Bud's scene, and then like I drew the sloth with like the UDT and SEAL instructor shirt on it. And I wrote instructor on the top. And I handed it in, and there was a couple guys who were like, this is the best comic we've ever seen, but you cannot do this. And I was like, I put so much effort into this. They're like, you can't do this. Do something else. So then I did some shitty comic and got beat for like a shitty comic. But they never told him, but they're like, this is one of those ones that like, you will pay for this with your Bud's career. Yeah. So,
it's interesting hearing you recount stories from Bud's takes me back to my time there, and both as a student and as an instructor. And there's just, man, there's so many good memories, especially looking back on it. There are certainly times going through it where you don't think it's a good memory, or it's one of the most miserable experiences of your life. But being able to experience that, as a young man, surrounded by other motivated young men, being instructed and taught and mentored by guys who, at least for me, and it sounds like for you too, are almost godlike to you, is just such a special experience. I'm so thankful to have been able to experience that, because there's just nothing like it.
No. Yeah, I remember hearing like, it's the best time you never want to have again. And like, I totally believe that.
Yeah, it's amazing. So you didn't have any huge hiccups, but you ended up breaking your thumb in SQT and combatives. Mm-hmm. What is that when you first got the bug for training beyond just combatives courses? And I
always liked fighting and stuff. I wanted to be like a MMA fighter when I was younger. I joined like an MMA gym, or they called it MMA. Like looking back now, it was like a karate gym where we'd wear like little puffy gloves. But yeah, and so I thought I kind of knew how to fight a little bit. We did a little bit of combatives, like in Bud's first phase. We did a little bit of boxing and like wrestling stuff on the beach with Blake Lowe. And then third phase, did a little bit with Mike O'Dowd. We did some like boxing and stuff there, and I just always enjoyed it. And then remember we went to Alaska, our first trip, like an SQT, and like I want to get ready for combatives. So like my friend Joey and I went to like a Dick's Sporting Goods or some sports store like in Kodiak, and we bought like 12-ounce boxing gloves, and we just go in the gym and just like literally just beat the shit out of each other. Like, we gotta get tough for combatives. And but we both did it and had a lot of fun. And then combatives is a little different because it's more like prisoner handling stuff. Like you learn some basics, like 1-2 kick, like nothing crazy. A few like side control escapes or whatever, but nothing like real. And then we did the multiple attackers drill, which was just like such a rush. When I did it, it was 2 minutes. I think they moved it to 1. I don't know what it's at now, but because a lot of people are getting hurt. But yeah, I had like the little MMA gloves, and then just like sparring headgear. I think that was it. I don't think I had shin pads or anything. And my thumb like got caught on somebody and like just bent all the way back and just like snapped. I didn't feel it because I was so amped. And then when I finished, I went to take my glove off. This glove just slid off. This glove was like, this is weird. Like, what's going on? And then I think they had to cut it actually. They're like, oh, that's not good. They pulled it off and it was just so swollen. I'm like, oh no. And then, yeah, like my freaking thumb like snapped backwards. And then, yeah.
So you got a class roll for that?
Yep, I went to 305 after that, and I didn't do combatives. They let me like graduate with it, and then I just hopped in the next class and went for land warfare.
Yeah. No significant issues or hiccups or anything going through that?
Not really. I for a while I forgot like which way left and right were. So he's like, peel right, and I'm like, okay, and I'd run left. And they'd be like, you fucking idiot. And I'm like, oh no. And I just got super stressed about it. And then they made me wear like a glove on my left hand. And they're like, hold your hand up. That makes an L. That means left. I was like, right. And then, but yeah, I never had like, I think I only safety violations I got were like in CQC, which it's like everybody gets violations in CQC. So I never really had a problem after that.
Yeah. Your first duty station was SEAL Team 3, but you did an augment for Team 7. What? How did that shake out?
Yeah, so we just finished ULT. I needed to re-enlist. So we were going to Iraq. We're going to Al-Assad. So they were doing a PDSS in May. I needed to re-enlist before June 2nd, I think it was. So it was all my head shed, like E8 and above, and then, or was it E7 and above. All the chiefs and the troop chief and then the troop commander were going out, and then some of the techs. And like, well, you gotta re-enlist, so you'll just hop on with them. So it was me and my LPO. We got to go also, and it was really fun actually. I'll talk about the fun part, but well, it was all fun, but the experience was wild because I'd never left the U.S. I'd done, traveled all over with ULT and some schools and stuff like that. I'd been to Canada when I was like a kid, went to like Montreal, like right across the border in Vermont. And then I went to Cancun and like the Bahamas, I think, for like, bless you, for like a little vacation or something. But I'd never really left. I was super excited to join the Navy, see the world. Like that's what I was hoping for. And then, I knew like training and stuff, like I would at some point. So then this came up, I got to go, super pumped. Like I'm going to Iraq, like this is really cool. So we took a C-130. And it was us, the PDSS crew, and then a bunch of other guys from Team 3 who were going to West Virginia for like a CB like construction school. So we flew from San Diego to Charleston, West Virginia. They all got off. We went out like in the hotel. I wasn't training. I wasn't drinking at the time because I was training to go to the screener. So I wasn't doing a whole lot of that at the time. And then we got on the plane the next day and we flew to Newfoundland, Canada. So that was like my first experience like out of the country, not like in a touristy thing. And I was with a bunch of guys who I realized they were in their own, like when they're in charge of you, they're all in, ship shape and follow the rules. But when they're all together, they're just like everyone else. So we went out to a bar in Newfoundland. Had a good time. I got in a fight. Well, a lot of us got in a fight, but I definitely got in a fight. I got a big mug like smashed over the back of my head, and then this bouncer. Like, I'm not a small person, as you can see. This dude literally picked me up and threw me out of the bar. And then the other bouncer threw the other guy out. And then we got in a fight on the street. And it was kind of raining out. And I got my lips split open. I have a picture on my phone of it somewhere. I look at it every now and then and laugh. But I remember we're getting in the fight, and then my chief and LPO come out, and they like grab him, and my chief puts him in like a rear naked choke, like seated, and then my LPO, Chris, takes this guy's shoes and like throws them down like the street, and it's raining out. So he's like, "Enjoy the wet socks, bitch." And the guy was just like, in his little Canadian accent, it was like, "You took my shoes." He's like, "Yeah." And then like we ran away and went to a strip club, and went back to the hotel, had breakfast the next morning, got on the plane, flew to Belfast, northern UK or Northern Ireland. We're there for 2 days and just drank a bunch of Guinness. Traveled around a little bit, but it was really just a drinking trip for everyone. And I was like, well, I have to drink a Guinness, like I'm here. And so that was cool. Then we left from there, went to Greece, same thing. I went to bed a little bit, not very long. Most of the guys stayed up all night just drinking and around Athens, which was kind of cool. Like, kind of wish I'd done that, but whatever. And then we went to Kuwait, and that sucked. It was like 130 degrees. I remember the back of the C-130 open. It was like, imagine like 1,000 hair blow dryers like in your face. It was just like, oh my God, this is terrible. We were there for like 2 days, I think. And then we flew up to Al-Assad, Iraq. We got there like 6 p.m., I think. Went to go eat at the Chow Hall. But as we were eating, the troop was doing an op ord for a thing they were doing the next morning. They were leaving at like 4 a.m. We missed it because we were, eating, and we got there late. But then after, one of my good friends was in the platoon. And so I was hanging out with him, and he was like, "Bro, see if you can come with us tomorrow, because like you're staying," because I had to stay to like re-enlist. They were all leaving. They were like, "We're here, looks good, and we're out." So I went in, talked to the OIC a little bit, and then the troop chief came in, and he was the SEA of SQT, and he kind of remembered me as another hilarious guy that I really liked, Brian Alizawi. Really liked him a lot. Super cool dude, and just hilarious. And he remembered me, so he starts talking to the platoon chief. He's like, "Oh yeah, you gotta get Alex out there." And they're like, "What's your background?" He's like, "He's a chief. He's a chief of the platoon. It's coming out." And he just like looks at me, like smiles, and I'm like getting all like, I'm like blushing. And he's like, "You don't look like a chief." I was like, "I'm not." He's like, "Well, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm a new guy, re-enlisting." And Brian's just like, "Damn it, Alex, what are you doing?" He's like, "I'm trying to help you out." He's like, "Now you're going to do some shit job if you even get to go." And he's like, "Well, actually, we do have a seat opened, a gunner seat." And he's like, "Our JTAC's in Baghdad." I'm like, he's like, "Do you have your stuff?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Okay." So I like look at Al, and he's like, "You can take mine." I'm like, "Okay." So I like run out like a little kid on Christmas, tell my chief and my LPO, I'm like, "I'm going." Like they're letting me take a seat in one of the MATVs. They're like, "For real?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right, cool." So they're like, "Well, you need to go to bed then. Like, we've been traveling, you've been drinking, you've been a clown, your lips split open, like you need to rest. Like you need to, like you're representing Team 3, Charlie Platoon, like you need to do good. Like go to bed." I'm like, "All right." I'm laying there, and like my corpsman's in the other like bed in like the hooch, and I'm just like tossing and turning. He's like, "You good?" I'm like, "I'm just honestly, I'm so amped, like I just got here and I'm already like invited on an op. This is sick." He's like, "Do you want an Ambien?" I'm like, "Yeah, like that'd probably be good. Like otherwise I literally will not be able to sleep, and I know I need to." So I took that, passed out for a couple hours. The chief LPO came like the next morning, and came in at like 3:30 or so, and just like helped me do like a gear check and everything, helped me load and mags and stuff. But I remember sitting there, like we're at a table in like the little hooch area, and I'm like putting bullets in the mags, and they're all like a black tip. I think I'd never seen black tip. I'd seen like green tip from like the Mark 46 and like Nyland or whatever. But I'm like, and I remember I put a couple in, and I stopped, and they were just kind of looking at me, both smiling. I was like, what? Like, what'd I do? And they're like, what do you feel right now? I'm like, is it that obvious? And they're like, uh-huh. They're like, so what is it? I was like, I'm loading mags for the first time with the idea of putting them in a human. Not a piece of paper, not a piece of plastic, not a silhouette in the kill house, not a target, a human body. They're like, how do you feel about that? I'm just like, this is all I want to do. They're like, good answer. We went back to load mags, got everything loaded up, got my radio in, walk out to the trucks, and I see the other, our sister platoon chief, Nate. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going with Charlie. He's just like, fuck yeah, let's go. I was like, because my friend Joe, who was the guy I knew who told me like, go ask. He's like, we've been doing some stuff, some spicy stuff, like, but this one's gonna be good. Like, I have a feeling, like, let's try your hardest to get on. So Nate was like pumped for me too, because I'm brand new. I never even left anything, and we went out. It was like a freaking 40-mile TGM at like 5 miles an hour, like trying to look for IEDs and shit, which was like kind of shitty. It was super uncomfortable. I didn't have anything with me. I didn't have a pillow. I didn't have a butt pad. I didn't have a puff jacket. I had nothing. And I was just so like green, and I had my blowout kit in my back plate, inside of the plate, so I'm just sitting there like leaning against my blowout kit, like feeling the freaking needle D, feeling this and that, and just like, this is excruciating. Like, it's out, like I'm in so much pain and so much discomfort that it's like outweighing the excitement. Like, and I'm amped, and I'm like, this sucks. And then we pull up to our first like NAI, like named area of interest, like top of this hill, send the partner force down in, and just shit just like popped off. And I'm just like, oh my God, like it's fucking, this is it. Like I just got here. I've been in Iraq for like 12 hours. I'm already like shooting at people. And like, we weren't really getting shot at. We were like 800 meters out. But still, like, you're seeing the partner force go, like I'm on the Crow, you can zoom in and see stuff. I'm just like, damn. And then the LPO of the platoon, he like opens the door of the back of the MAT-V. He's like, hey, Roger, get the fuck out here. I'm like, what? And he's like, you just went to the mortar course, right? I was like, yeah, because I went to Pendleton and did like a week-long mortar course. And like, I crushed it. Like I was literally out of all the guys that went, I was like a freaking sniper with that thing. I was so good with the mortars. I just like picked it up naturally. It was weird. I don't pick up anything naturally besides jiu-jitsu, but like it was weird. I was just somehow very good at it. And he's like, freaking, let's get some mortars out. Like, let's make sure you get a car out of this. And I was like, a combat action room. I'm like, sick. I'm like, I'm like shaking. I'm like so excited. I get out and I grab a freaking, a mortar, and I'm just like shaking, and I like drop it in the tube, like all fucked up. And like the thing moved, and it missed by like a lot. And he's just like, what the fuck was that? I was like, I don't know. And he's like, get the fuck back in the truck. And I was just like, ugh. And I just went and sat in the truck for like a second. And was just like, what the hell? Like 3 weeks ago, you were like freaking Michael Jordan with this thing. And now you're like some goofball who doesn't even know what you're doing. Like you like dropped the thing in. You didn't like do anything that you were taught. And I like took out my notebook and just started writing. And then they're like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, I'm reflecting. I don't know. Like, I can't, like, I'm embarrassed, like, at myself. Like, my nerves got so out of control. And so we're sitting there and we're still just, you know, shooting people and whatever. And I kind of get back into the fight, or if you will. And I look out the window of the MATV, and next to us is a Hilux with the little skinnies in it from the partner force dudes who didn't like go down into the village, because we all kind of lined up like MATVs and the Hiluxes, and they had like a Dishka in the back, like a big 50 cal, for those who don't know what that is. And there's a guy just shooting down, laying waste into these buildings. And he's focused and like he's chill about it. But then in the back of it, because they're all little, they're all like 100 pounds. In the back of it are two of them who are literally snapping selfies and like throwing up like American gang signs like in the camera as like their homeboy is like legit killing people. And it just hit me. I was like your perception is different for everybody. Like here I am, like so amped. Like I'm better at a mortar than fucking anybody here, and like in a comm situation, I promise you that. But in this scenario, I look like I don't even know what I'm doing. I have no idea what's going on. I just lost all credibility. Everyone thinks I'm incompetent and just like stupid now because of that. Because my nerves got ahead of me. And then I look out the window and I see these goofballs who are like laughing and joking because this is so normal and they're so relaxed. And I was just like, this is wild. And that, I think, forever changed the way I like view, again, problems and stress and just like danger, and because it was so real, you know. Like I had stuff like that with buds where it was like, oh, this is for real, this is legit. And then I would get amped and I'm like, well, it's controlled chaos, like it's by design. And then I'm like, this is legit warfare. Like we're watching people just like their bodies get split in half by a 50 count round. Like, and they're just chilling, taking selfies and videos of it. And it was wild. And then, yeah, we did that. We went to like 3 or 4 of them, and I calmed down after that. But again, like my credibility was gone from that first one. I think the last one, the driver of my MATV was like, all right, you ready? You want to try this again? I was like, yes. He's like, all right. So we get out, and I was a new guy, so it was an A-dub, carried a 48. And he's like, you ever shot a machine gun before? And I was just like, yes. And I'm like, damn it, dude. And so he's just like, all right, here you go. We can rack it back. I'm just look at him like, I don't want to be like, I know. Yeah. Because I'm like, I know why. Like, I fucked up. And I got to pay for it. At least he's allowing me to do this. So then I just start like, shooting at people. And it was like, which was cool, of course. But it was, I remember I told that story to a couple of my new guys about like, because my ops chief, my 3rd platoon, used to kind of say jokingly, but like for real, it's like, you can't teach experience. And I was like, you can't, I agree, but I can try to change the way you view things. And so I tell that story about that to, this is the first time I've shared it like publicly for like team guys or operators, but just, you know, the way you view things can really change the way you affect things. And that's a huge lesson for me. And then, you know, we went on and did like, the rest of the time was fine. And I felt a lot better after that, like literally just seeing those guys just like relaxed. And then after I did the 48, there was a guy that they couldn't get. They killed everybody else. There was a guy who like ran into like this building, and they couldn't get, we were shooting him with like the 40 mag, and then we had like, you know, 650s from the MATVs, and then like there was the partner force trying to set up like a flank on him, and like we couldn't get him. He's just shooting at him from this building. And they're like, all right, get out the Javelin. And I'd just done a Javelin course too. So I was like, redemption is mine. So I get out, I grab, because it's in the back of my truck, I get out, I grab it, I pull it out, I set it all up, and I like pick it up. And this other dude who watched me put it all together, he's like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? I'm like, you said get the Javelin out and kill that guy, that's what I'm gonna do. And he's like, you're not doing that. Not only are you a new guy, you're not even in this platoon. Like, no, give me that. And I was like, okay. So he shoots it, freaking, blows up, kills a guy. And I was like, I get an assist at least, right? Like I put it all together and it's like, I'll give you that. And then there was another guy who was outside the building, which we didn't know about. So that was like, it went from like, there's this swing of like kind of laughing, like team guys like, oh, death, it's funny. To then we see like the 4 or 5 partner force guys like dead sprint. And these are the laziest fucking dudes in the world. And we see him just sprinting back towards us. And like this guy's kind of shooting a little bit, but then like he starts running after him. We're like, you fucking pussies, like turn around, there's 4 of you, like fucking kill that dude. And then, I didn't know anything about this. I don't think anyone really did because you couldn't really see because they were small. Because they were, like I said, like 800, 600 meters away. And he starts getting a little bit closer to them because he didn't have a gun or anything. He dropped it. I'm like, that's weird. And then all of a sudden, just fucking boom, this massive explosion. Like you felt the wave. You're like, holy fuck. Like, what the hell was that? And then 2 of them went down. And we were all just like, holy shit. Like, you hear about S-Fests and stuff all the time and B-bids. Like this platoon had been hit by a couple of V-bids earlier in the deployment, I believe. But to like see an S-Fest like go off in the middle of a field, like nothing impeding your vision at all, was just like, whoa. Like, holy fuck, like it rocked you. Like how big was that, And and then, so that was gnarly. And then they drove down, the partner force drove down and picked up the guys and like brought them back up. And this is another thing that was like weird. I said these same guys who were just like hanging out and like having fun, like taking selfies with each other, now like 2 dudes are dead. And if a SEAL's like even like winged, you're like, oh God, like fucking let's save this dude. Like win the firefight, of course, but like that's our boy. Like we need to take care of him, like make sure everything's good, get him to safety, like when possible. And it's like a big deal. And because like the brotherhood and stuff. And I see these 2 like dead guys, and they like picked them up and just freaking throw them in the back of the truck like they're like a dead animal. And then they throw them in there and they're just like laying there like just all cut up from like the ball bearings and shit. And then the other guys just come in, just raid them, taking shoes, taking their phones, taking their like everything out of their pockets, just leaving like their mangled like dead body in the back of this truck. And then I see like the other guys in the truck, because again, I'm just so much just is coming at me in the past like 18 hours. And I look at them and they're just like fucking savages. I was like, holy shit. Like I knew it was real before, but like that's a different type of real when I saw that. Because I'd never experienced anything like that. And it was weird. It was super weird to see if someone just clacked themselves off, 2 people die, 0 remorse whatsoever, throw them in like a roadkill, like, oh, what a nuisance, and then to raid their body and not give a shit after. It's like there's no camaraderie, there's no unity. It's just like, and I was like, this is fucked up.
Dude, that's wild, man. I imagine it's not, but I hope it's not lost on you how excruciatingly rare that experience is for a re-enlistment tour, A, B, your very first time in a combat environment to get thrown into a situation like that fast.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Wow.
It was weird.
Was that it? Did you go back, re-enlist, and go home? It was like that was your one thing, or did you stay there?
No, I was there for like 3 weeks. But yeah, that was all we did. We were on our way out for a second one that was supposed to be pretty good too. It was like another area of like a bunch of stuff, but they were gonna use like a drone, and then the partner force was gonna use some Zodiacs, but it was super windy, and we're like, we're not gonna let them take the Zodiacs because they're idiots and they don't know how to do this properly. We can't watch them because the winds are too high to watch with the drone. So like we were on our way out, and they canked it, and we turned around and came back, and then I just hung out there for a couple weeks, and then I flew back.
Yeah.
After that.
I mean, I know guys that have 4 combat deployments, 2 to Afghanistan, 2 to Iraq, that didn't experience something that heavy.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, like there's so much of just the luck of the draw, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, obviously, you know, the competency of the platoon and the task unit and the team and the reputation and all of that plays a role, you know, but the biggest contributing factor, at least from my experience, is just what's going on and who's there when it's going on, you know.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's nuts, man. So you re-enlist, you go back. Was there any part of you that's like, man, so this is what it's about, and like you were expecting for that to happen every time, because your last deployment it had wound down and was
So that was in May into June. Came back, finished out TJIT, and then my daughter was born September 6th. The platoon left like September 8th or something like that. So I stayed back for a couple of days. And then something had happened. I saw in the group chat like a little bit. Like, you know, I didn't see anything, but I tried to be like, hey, what's going on? Like, oh, wait, something happened, and we'll tell you when you get here. And so I'm like, damn, like, I want to get it back out there, you know. And yeah, they went out, and it was nothing crazy. They shot some like mortars or something. But to them, it was like super cool. They're like, oh, fuck, we did this, we did combat or whatever. And because all the one platooners had been to Iraq the cycle before, but never left base because like the ROEs and leadership or whatever was all whack. So with that though, my leadership in the troop and at the team was super proud of me, because like Al Azawi, being the goofball that he was, sent this email to like Team 3 like HQ or whatever, and like literally I saw the email, like literally said that I like single-handedly killed like 17 people, and I like did all this stuff, and I didn't see it till later. So like a lot of people had seen this email because I was gone, and when I came back, I got like my combat action ribbon. Actually, right before I left, the OIC there gave it to me, or gave me like this certificate, and I bought it when I got back. Because I was going to screen, so I had to have it on my uniform. And my one platooners hated me, like hated me, and it was really shitty. Like it got to a point where I was like treated so poorly because of that, like the combat jealousy, that I found myself regretting it. Like I wished I never went. And I remember I must have been giving off some sort of vibe or something, because I was looking at my uniform by my cage in the high bay, and GP, my troop commander, like came up. He's like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "I'm good." And I was like, he's like, "Uniform looks good." I was like, "Thanks." He's like, "Yeah, I see you got your car on there." I was like, "Yeah, I don't know. I might not put it on." He's like, "Why? You earned that." I was like, "Yeah, I know, but," he's like, "Team guy jealousy, bro. Don't let it get to you." He's like, "It's gonna happen. It happened to me." He's like, it's luck of the draw, like you just said. He's like, you can't chase war. It'll just happen or it won't. He's, it doesn't make you any less or any worse or any better as a team guy if you kill someone or you don't. He's like, I know it sucks, but keep your head up. You earned that. That is yours. Be proud of it. That helped a little bit, and my friends were pumped. They were all like, all my fellow new guys were like, yo, my boy freaking killed people, and thought it was sick because like that email was floating around.
Yeah.
Like, I killed 17
John Rambo
people.
over
I'm
here.
like, yeah, and they're calling me all sorts of like silly names and stuff like that. I'm like, I didn't do that, you know?
Yeah.
Like I didn't. And so that honestly just made it worse.
Yeah.
At first I thought it was funny that he was like pumping me up, but like, because my troop chief thought it was awesome. He's like, fuck yeah, like that's sick. Like that's my new guy, you know? My new guy's out there like repping Team 3 well. He went out and like laid waste. Like, this is awesome. And then he would say that, and then I have these one platooners who just hated me.
Yeah.
And it sucked.
They did like a 18-month workup in a Southeast Asia platoon, and now they're coming back and seeing you not even have done a platoon get an experience like that. And that's just lame.
Like, you were in there for 12 hours and you already like, it's bullshit. And they like made fun of me for it.
Yeah,
like, so, and then, but yeah, so then we went on deployment. I missed that. So they were all like pumped, like, oh, we all got a car now, like blah, blah, blah. And at least we got it with the platoon. And it was just like, so that sucked too. And then, I think it was like right after Christmas, there was 3 guys, 2 one platooners and one of the JOs had left to go to Green Team. And then like the next night we went out to a village outside of base, not too far, like 30 minutes on like a main road. And we got into like an urban like exchange with and it started off real slow. It was just be a SSE thing, like, hey, this dude and his wife like hide SIM cards and they like pass it off to ISIS or whatever. So we had to like get a special like female to come in and like search her because like she had been known to stuff them up in there, and so they had to like get her to go look for it. And so we were there, and I was in the truck on the gun with my C daddy was in the front in the driver's seat, and then everyone else had went inside. We were in an RG, so like a big one with like, can you fit like 8 people in the back? Oh, 6 probably with all the gear and stuff. But and then so I'm on the Crow, using thermal. It was black and white, and I see. So we have kind of an L around like the target building, and then like the outer L is like the Iraqi army, who we'd never worked with before. We always had our lightning platoon, which was just like a bunch of like, volunteers basically, that we trained up. So this is our first time working with them. We didn't really know how they operated. We did a Cali with them earlier, but like you can't really get a read off of it because it was with like their 3-star, which is hilarious that they send like E6s and E7s to talk to a 3-star. It's like, that's how little we respect you, which is hilarious to me. But anyway, so we didn't work with them. We see them like yelling. I see him like yelling at somebody. We can kind of hear it a little bit. And this guy like comes out, and he's in his little man dress, and these 2 Iraqi army dudes just like start harassing him. They shove him first, and they shove him a little bit, and they throw him on the ground. He gets back up, and they're like yelling, and they throw him on the ground again, and then they just start kicking him, like just kicking the fuck out of him. And I'm like, Tom, you seen this shit? And he's like, yeah, dude, they're beating the fuck out of that dude. I was like, what do we do? And he's like, nothing. Like, sucks, but whatever. I was like, all right. And then it's like another core memory. I remember this like so clear. Well, I'm watching, like he's laying on the ground, and then they kind of like start to run away too. And I'm like, and I've already seen something like this. I'm like, oh fuck. So I'm like, is that and I like got to the GR of grenade, and I just see like a little black thing bounce across the screen and just boom, just like holy fuck. And then just shit pops off like everywhere. There's just AKs just ripping. And then we're just like, fucking, like, get out, get out, get out, get out. And then, so then guys just start running out, and like people are just shooting everywhere. And yeah, it was, yeah, I'm not going to pretend I'm some war hero. I fucked up. My gun didn't work. I had a clear shot at two guys with guns shooting at us. We heard the like the dings off the RG, and I'm like going, it's like ka-chunk, won't go, ka-chunk. I'm just like, fuck. Tom's like, get that fucking gun up. I'm like, dude, I'm trying.
So what gun was it? Was it
50 cal.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't go. And I was just like, fuck. So I like climb up out the hatch. And like I hear the snaps and the bullets going over. He's like, get the fuck down in here, dude. No, I'm like, no, like I'm not gonna look like a fucking pussy. Like I'll fucking get shot right now before I like don't let my gun get up. He's like, I'll give you 10 seconds. If that thing isn't up, we have to move. Because the truck behind us was like, get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way. And we're like, I was like, I can get it. And I'm trying to get like reload it and everything. And I'm all jittery because I'm like, fucking A. Like I don't want people to think I'm a pussy because I didn't fucking shoot this guy. And then I can't get it. Tom's like, get in. I'm like, all right, fine. So I get down. I like grab my 48. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to get out. Like I'm going to shoot. He's like, no, dude, like chill. Like you're in armor. We're fine. Like let them handle it. And then I just hear the 50 behind me just start blasting. And then I like re-rack the thing a few times, like with the controller, you know, get it, and then it starts working, and I'm just start shooting shit. And yeah, I don't want to say any more, but some stuff happened, and I'm like, I don't know if that was me or not, but
what you don't want to say what happened?
Well, there was some people that died that shouldn't have died, and I don't know if it was me or not. Honestly, I don't. When they did the BDA after,
Like they were just civilians walking around?
Yeah. One was a pregnant woman. So I don't know if it was me. No one said what kind of round it was, but I was just like, oh shit. Like I don't know, because some people are like, how many people you killed? I'm like, honestly, I don't know, because I just shot. It was stupid, but I was so amped at the time. And
do you know if the Iraqi army guys, I mean, were they also engaging? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just fucking going wild. Like there was like once that grenade went off, fucking everybody started shooting. I don't know who was shooting what. It's hard to tell like in the thermals because you can't. Like we would put stuff on them like IR chem lights. So if you're on nods, you're like, okay, I know that's a friendly, that's a green. But on the thermal, you're like, I don't know. So yeah, and so that sucked. And
is that something you still think about often?
When I did my VA claim, I think it was the first time I like actually thought about it. When I talked about like my, like they asked if I had PTSD, and I was like, no. And then I started talking about that and other stuff, like seeing the bodies thrown in the back of the truck. So I've thought more about it in the last 6 months than I probably did in the last, well, that was 2017, than I did literally before that. So I started my VA claim in June.
Of this year?
Or no, I started in April. So prior to April of this year, I probably never thought about it. All my therapy sessions and everything that I did was about my divorce. So it's like, I had a therapist, but you don't have PTSD. Like you're just depressed because of this. And then when I actually started talking about it to like the VA therapist, and like, oh no, you, like it's not debilitating, but like you clearly have some things in there that you just, the divorce and stuff like superseded it. So yeah, and like that, you know, that bothers me. Like I don't want to just like, I want to kill bad guys, you know. And again, I don't know if I did or not. I have thought about it before, but like maybe I did, you know, I don't know. But again, like no one ever, when they did the BDA, like no one said like it was a 50 cal, and even if it was, like there was 6 trucks, like, so I shouldn't be too hard on myself about it, but it is something that I think about every now and then.
Did that change your, I guess, ego and mentality and mindset for further operations, or were there any further operations?
Yeah, no, we did a lot of TGMs after that, and just, you know, just being super familiar with the weapon system. Like,
I guess more from a not firing based on emotion and just going hog wild kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot that I learned in that, you know, PID, like, assess the situation, don't just like react, like respond, you know, like there's a difference to that. And just, yeah, I don't know. It definitely took a lot out of it.
Yeah. For the rest of that deployment, you did a bunch of other, what did you call them, TGMs? I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, like just tactical ground mobility or movement. Like we couldn't use helos, so we drove the MATVs everywhere, and we used to go to places all the time. We send the partner force in to wrap somebody up or whatever, and then we would just set up like ISO and containment, or and they would go do their thing.
Were any of the TGMs that you went on super dynamic like that?
Nope.
No.
Not for us. The partner force did some stuff, but we never really engaged.
Yeah. Generally speaking, or I guess overall, that deployment, coupled with the re-enlistment Augment experience, I think it sounds like I know the answer, in that you didn't really think about any of that stuff until here fairly recently. But did that impact you at all for the rest of your career? Did going on a subsequent deployment and it being very benign by comparison dictate, or was that the catalyst for you to want to get out?
No, that's not why I got out. I think, I think that just that, and mixed with a bunch of other experiences, like non-combat related, of course, because I didn't have any after that, but just made me really just kind of slow things down and assess. Like I was saying at the beginning of this, like I've always been very like kind of calculated and just methodical, and I respond to most things in my life, except for relationships. That's where I react.
What do you think it is about relationships that is so different in your life compared to everything else? Like, why is it the dynamic with women you think that trips you up so much?
I don't know. I would love to know. I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Well, let me ask you this, not to go full Dr. Phil on you, but maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Growing up, was there, in terms of your, if you want to call it, success with women, was it lacking as a younger adolescent and into your teen years?
Not really. No, I didn't. I never like had a girlfriend though. Like all through high school, and then after, there was a girl I hooked up with, but yeah, then I met my wife. We were friends. We met at the hotel. And then,
back in Vermont.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then she was in a relationship, but then like after like a few months or so, like I fell for her, and they broke up. We started dating. She actually joined the Navy too, and then I joined the Navy like right after. And then I was with her up until we got officially divorced April of this year, but we separated March of last year. I was having an affair the entire time, though, and I was with that woman, and that's kind of really when I, like all the issues started to really come up.
For you internally?
Yeah, I think so, because like when she found out, and my family found out, and it was just like, okay, this has honestly gotten like way out of hand, and this is not good. Like I just ripped my family apart, and I'm still dealing with that chick now. I still go to court all the time.
The other one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We separated. I don't really ever say we were officially dating. She'll say otherwise, but I never really considered it that. We hung out, we traveled a lot, but I never like called her my girlfriend or anything. Basically, because I was embarrassed about what we did. We would just travel and hook up. We still did things and shared things, but like I never officially called her like my girlfriend,
So is it like a common law thing in Vermont? Or
no, this was all in Virginia.
Or I guess in Virginia.
Yeah.
I mean, is it?
I'm not really sure.
Well, I guess not to pry or overly pry, but what is there to go to court about?
So we split up, and then things just got out of hand. Like she didn't want to leave, and she used to threaten me. She used to threaten my career. She like called NCIS, said I did a bunch of messed up stuff in the Navy. She called CPS, like he has loaded guns all over his house, and he like takes his kids to jiu-jitsu when they have pneumonia, and like was just creating all this noise. She took out assault and battery charge on me in retaliation because I took out charges against her because she broke into my house, stole a bunch of stuff, and then that was just, it started this court thing, and then like ever since then it's just been nonstop. And then the woman I'm with now, she started harassing her, and then now we have a restraining order against her, and then this chick still continues just to violate it and take out charges against me, against her. So we're going to court like all the time. She tried to sue me. She tried to sue the girl I'm with, tried to sue my ex-wife, tried to sue these two women I know in Florida. And it's just this nonstop thing that I've been dealing with. It's slowed down, and hopefully it goes away soon. But I just was like, oh, what have I done? You know, like, and again, it's the relationship, it's the things with women. Like, so I got Medusa tattooed on my hand. Like, women are my vice. Like, I've made some really stupid decisions with them and just been careless and unfaithful and just wrong, and lost my path on that. And again, like that's what the therapy really has been about. And I kind of suppressed these other things, but they're still there. So I'm a work in progress for sure.
I mean, military life in general, but especially special operations, I think, there's a big struggle with that. You know?
Yeah.
So it's certainly not uncommon. But man, I'm sorry to hear all that. How big of a role has going through all of this played on, like from a mental health aspect, kind of what you've gotten into now where, having such a big focus on mindset and kind of what you're trying to accomplish both in jiu-jitsu and business-wise and whatever else, and how does that all kind of...
Yeah, I just try to stick with that, Rolling Stone gathers no moss, like look for work mindset. Like, I don't care how you feel. Sometimes you just got to get up, and I don't always do that. Sometimes I would lay there and just in bed and just be depressed and be like, oh, I'm so tired. It's like, no, you're not tired. You're depressed because you have made foolish decisions that you don't want to take accountability for. You don't want to face yourself. You don't want to put in the work there. You want to look for work by going to the gym or working out or going for a run or signing up for a school or a program or doing these things like that. That's all well and good. Like those are great things. But you need to look for work in the weak areas of your life, which is like your emotional regulation, your reactions, your relationships, and stuff like that. And so I'm trying to do that, and that's the scary part for me. Like, I'll fight anybody in jiu-jitsu. Like, I don't care. But it's like, you want me to sit down and hash something out with you without like getting fired up? Like, oof, I don't know. Like, I don't know how this is gonna go.
Yeah.
And I'm not as confident in that. So I'm working on it. I'm very aware of it. And that's why I read that attachment style book. And I've read a few others, and I see therapists, and I do like little activities on my phone and stuff like that, read things to try to, again, look for work to improve that side of things, so that I can be a better man, better father, better partner, for a better brother, husband, father, whatever, friend, and just kind of get back to being the man I want to be, and like someone that people look to as like the whole man concept. Like, oh, he's not just like good at jiu-jitsu. He's not just a marathon runner. He's not a business owner. He's not on a second master's. He's not a business owner, and like he doesn't just do this. Like, he takes care and protects, provides for his family, for his woman, for his kids, and he is solid in all aspects. He's not like super good at this, but then just a lost cause with this over here. So that's the main focus right now, and that's the silent battle I'm dealing with. So it's good that you're asking these questions so I can say that, because this is helpful for me too.
Yeah. And if I heard correct, that was really the big reason why you decided to get out, was the personal turmoil.
I think so. Yeah.
You mentioned screening a few times.
Yep. Yeah. So I screened twice. Just it didn't work out. The first time I was just super inexperienced. I didn't. I snuck through the cracks. They said that, like, I shouldn't have been able to screen as a new guy. I really just put my package in, not expecting to get invited, because I shouldn't have been. And they told me that. They like yelled at the guy who accepted my package, like right there at the board. So, and then the second time, I just wasn't. I thought mentally I was in a good spot, but like reflecting back now, I wasn't. Like, I wasn't ready. And there was some people who were like, you should wait. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't feel like now's a good time. I'm like, no, I'm like, I want to go right now. Like, I feel good.
So did you get picked up and actually went?
Mm-mm.
No.
Nope.
You didn't pass the board to get. Yeah.
Nope.
Do they explain to you why they're not, or why you're disqualified or not picked up?
Well, the first time, yeah, it was just like, yeah, you're just super inexperienced. Like, we love that you're here. We love that you're motivated.
But you shouldn't even.
But you shouldn't. You shouldn't even be here. Like, you should go do like, ideally 2 platoons. Like, cool, you got a car. You know, you did an augment with 7. Good for you. But like, we want to see like a little bit more leadership experience out of you as well. More competency. Like, you kind of walked around like you were, like you didn't belong here. I'm like, well, I don't. And they're like, well, at least you're aware. I was like, yeah. And then the second time I went, I was at Tradet. So I'd already done 3 platoons, and then I was instructor role, and I'm like, I was overconfident. I was at CQC instructor. CQC is like my thing. I was like really happy with how I was. So we did the sim runs, like multi-flow rooms, and like I did really well. Like, they showed me my scores from the cadre, like assessing me, and they're like, yeah, actually you did like above average. Like, your CQC IQ is very high in this. But when I did the fishbowl stuff, like the very methodical, like, you will do this, you will penetrate 2 to 4 feet, spine on 3, 18 inches off the wall, you'll hit your corner, and you'll do the scan at like whatever, and then you'll go do this and that, and I'm just like, I like bombed that. Like, I did not do well at all. And I didn't really practice it because I was like, I'm good at CQC, I don't need to do this shit. Just a stupid mindset to have, like, again, overconfident, arrogant even, really. Because it's like, these rooms are so basic. But then, like, I didn't do the like screener type CQC. I just did the other thing. So, and then I was like in really good shape. Like, and it just so happened when I went that class, I went in February, and I was like the bottom like 10 for physical scores. And when I told my scores to like some other friends who had screened, they're like, your scores are insane. Like, you absolutely obliterated that thing. And I was like, I thought so too, but I was literally at the bottom. And when we did the like the recap of like all the physical stuff at the end of the screener week, the human performance staff were like, this class has literally raised the average by like multiple points. Like, this is the most fit class we'd ever seen. Because another guy I worked with at Assaults, he'd screened in November. So like, you know, a couple months prior to me, I screened in February. And he was like in the top like 20% with his scores. And my scores were like way higher than his. All of them. Push-ups, pull-ups, run, swim. Like, not my swim, but everything else was like really high. And so he was just like, that's crazy that you know, like, that's what you got. Because when I did the screener the first time, we did the 7-mile ruck. And granted, it depends on the time of the day you do it and like the tide, because you run a lot of it on the soft sand. And I'm not a good soft sand runner. Never have been. I remember the first time I ran, it was like an hour 40, and I was like in the middle. This time, I'd been running a lot and was doing the half marathons and stuff. And I did the same route, same everything. Did like an hour 17. I was literally third from last.
Wow.
And I was like, and they're like, yeah, your scores actually like got worse from the first time you screened. And then one of the other dudes was like, actually, no, they didn't. Like, he did improve quite a bit, but like, he's still at the very bottom. And they're just like, these score, like the people in that class were just blew out of the water.
Mutants.
Like, yeah, it was like a bunch of dudes ran it like under an hour. Like,
wow.
A 45-pound ruck ran 7 miles in under an hour. Like, that's hard to do without a ruck.
Yeah.
For most people. And it was like,
that's gnarly, man.
Daggum. So, yeah, and then I was pretty bummed, and I was just like, man, I guess I should have waited. And they're like, yeah, you can't screen again. Two's it. That at the time, that was it. And then I think the different Master Chief came in and changed it, but at that point, I was just kind of like checked out from screening. And then my chief of CQC, I can't stand him at all. He got so bad, like working for him, that I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I asked 7 senior chiefs to like switch to a different cell. And finally the last one, Moose, everyone calls him. I was like, he's like, how you doing? You still at assault? I was like, yeah. He's like, you still hate it? And I was like, yeah, actually, like I do. He's like, you want to come work for me? I'm like, yeah, I do. I was like, but honestly, he's like, you're the 7th senior chief I've asked. I was like, so he's like, I got it, don't worry. That was on a Monday. I had Tuesday off from the kill house because we were in the middle of CQC like week. So I was like at the kill house on Fort Story, went to Little Creek Monday, saw Moose on the way out of Tradette, had that conversation with him for like 3 minutes, and went home. That night I get a text from I think it was one of the CQC senior chiefs, like, hey, can you come in tomorrow at 10 o'clock? I was like, sure. Like, I get all stressed out, like, what did I do? And I go in on Tuesday, and he's just like, they sit me down and basically just tell me like how shitty I am. And like, yeah, you're just not a good fit. Like, we don't want you here anymore. So effective immediately, you're going to land warfare. And I like tried not to like jump out of my seat and just be like, thank God. I was just like, oh man. And then it was shitty because they just like berated me and like tried to tell me like how shitty I was. It's just like, I'm not shitty. You were literally about to promote me to like lead instructor of CQC. Like, what are you doing? Or of SAUC rather. And I asked to do it, and they're like, yeah, we could probably like do that. And then I take like this verbal beating from these 2 dudes. And then when I get out in the car, and I'm like kind of upset, and then I call Moose. He's like, yo, 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 you hear the news? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, what's wrong? I'm like, well, what happened? He's like, well, you told me you wanted to come to land warfare. He's like, I made it happen. What, like, you all right? I'm like, yeah, just the meeting I just had like wasn't cool. And he's, fuck that. You're with me now. I got you. And I was like, okay. And then it was cool. And then I was with him, and it was fine. And then I was just like, it's just shitty that's it's like, dude, I've had this happen to me before. Like, all of a sudden you're mad about, like, because everyone's like, oh, CQC, like that's where all the cool guys go. Like, I was like, I don't want to be here. And I love CQC. I just hated that dude. He was literally the most toxic leader I've ever had in my entire life. Yeah. And I've had some shitty ones, and that dude took the cake. And so yeah, I went to land warfare, had a good time there, but then that's kind of when the divorce kicked through. And that chief who I had at CQC went to Team 10, and I was like doing well. I took over as lead RSO for Bravo Cell, was teaching classes on like leadership, the AW course, and then like the new guy course and like running ranges and stuff, like doing well. And we did a back-to-back trip. So I did all of team 4, had like a week off, and then team 10 started the next like ULT cycle. So it was a grind for like 8 weeks. That chief came down and just, you know, guys hold a grudge like no one else, and just like started just saying shit to me. Or not to me. He'd be nice to my face, but then like he started saying stuff about me, how I was a bad worker, I was lazy, and they're like, we don't have a problem with him. Like he's been doing really well. Like he's taking over for lead RSO when Blake gets out. Like he's teaching classes. There was 2 platoons there. My friend Joey, the one that we beat the shit out of each other in Kodiak, like one of my best friends still. I was like, yo, how am I doing? Like, I'm in this like new role. I'm like being a lot more outspoken in these like classes and stuff. He's like, dude, the guys love you. Like, you're doing great. He's like, you know, it's good to see some like aggression again. You know, like these new teams just kind of like cater to feelings a little bit more than they should. He's like, so it's good. And his chief thought I was cool. He really liked me a lot too. Joey told everyone that I had like combat experience, and they loved that. So people listened to me. That was Bravo. Alpha, with that other chief, all this, like, had a couple of guys be like, oh, Alex he's mean. He treats us like we're bud students. So I like got in trouble for that. I'm like, the mixed reviews is insane. You have one platoon saying that I'm great, I'm doing a phenomenal job, they're learning a lot from me. Then you have the other platoon being like, he's mean. I was like, what's going on here? I was like, because I just did a whole 4 weeks with team 4 and everything was fine. Like, you actually moved me to a different spot, like with more responsibilities. And now this guy comes through who you know has had problems, I've had problems with. Now all of a sudden, like, I'm back in the limelight of being like a shitbag. And so that sucked. And then it didn't help that I was like going through my divorce and like navigating all of that as well. And rightfully so, they pulled me off, put me in ops, because I'd be walking around live fire range and I'd be like on my phone, friggin' rockets going off next to me. And I'm just like, yeah, backpack's clear. Lean in, back of my phone, you fucking bitch, blah, blah, blah. Like, and then people are like, yo, bro, you can't be doing that. I'm like, I know, but I'm like super stressed. And that's when I really started to feel the weight of like depression and shit. And I used to say all the time that, like, if you commit suicide, you're a fucking pussy. I don't feel bad for you. That's the most selfish thing you could ever do. Which I don't disagree with still, but I will say that there was a few times during that last trip where I felt such a pain and weight in my head that I'd be like, if I lived like this every day, I would probably do it too. Because I thought about it a few times, like, I can't deal with this, the pain, like this, I feel like there's 1 billion pounds like in my head. It's just crushing me. Like, I don't know if I can do this. And, I just look at pictures of my kids on my phone, like, you can't do this to them. Like, you've said all this and this and this about people who commit suicide. Like, you can't do that. Like, there has to be a way to get out of this. And that's when I signed up for therapy. And then my master chief took me offline, put me in ops, and I was pissed. I was fucking furious. He's like, I know this feels like a punishment. It's not. He's like, we see what's going on. You're not alone. There's been plenty of guys who've been here before. We're doing this for you. You may not feel like it, but like, we need you to do this. You need to go to therapy. You need to take care of yourself. You need to go work out, do whatever you need to do. You like fighting, go fight. Take this time for yourself. Get right. Focus on your kids. I was like, no, I love going to Arkansas. I love being an instructor. But I loved it. Like, it was fun, but I also loved just escaping, getting away from my ex and like the other girl, and just like being alone. And so I used it as like a way to hide, not face anything. So it was good. It made me do it, it kind of made me more depressed for a little while. And And then one of my friends who also got pulled off because for a medical reason, he had something wrong with his neck, like really bad. So they took him off, let him get like physical therapy and stuff. And I remember he called me one day, and like we were friends, we'd like run and stuff when we were in Arkansas, but like we didn't really talk a whole lot. But he called me, he was like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, hanging out with the kids at home. He's like, come over, let's cook burgers. And I was like, nah, I don't really feel like it. He's like, yeah, I know, come over. I'm like, man, I got my kids. He's like, it's good. What do they like to eat? I was like, they're super picky. He's like, I don't care. What do they like? I was like, mac and cheese. He's like, that's not picky. Every kid likes mac and cheese. What else? I was like, chicken nuggets. He's like, what else? I was like, milk. He's like, all right, I'm going to do an Instacart order right now. Come over. Here's my address. I was like, I don't know, man. He's like, get the fuck over here. I was like, all right. Grab the kids, go over to his house. He's just like, we're just there hanging out, and he starts cooking, and the Instacart order comes in. They're young, they're making a ruckus. He's like rebuilding his deck, so there's like nails and stuff out. He's like, all right, what can I do to like help you out here? I'm like, do you have like Amazon Prime or something? Like, they love Moana. He's like, I'll literally get it right now. I was like, no, it's fine. You don't have to. He's like, no, I will. Like, don't worry about it. He's like, just relax. Just sit down. I'm like, all right. I'm just spinning, like just nonstop. He goes over. He's like, all right, sit down. I'm like, well, do you want to watch like Moana? He's like, all right, cool. Buys Amazon Prime. Buys Moana. Puts it on for him. Gets some milk. Starts cooking food. And then I was like, I don't really drink a whole lot, but he's like, you want a drink? I'm like, no. He's like, I think you need one. He's like, I got this really special bottle. I'm going to open it. I'm like, don't do that for me. He's like, don't tell me what to do. I'm like, okay, fine. So he opens it up, and we just sit there. We just, small talk, and then he's just like, so how you doing? I'm like, I'm fine. He's like, no, you're not. And he's like, it sucks, right? I was like, what? He's like, everything you're going through, you got pulled off, this, that, all these things. I was like, yeah. He's like, well, they did the same to me. Different reasons, but they did the same thing. He's like, the reasons are different, but the intent is the same. It's for you. He's like, I know you're pissed. You probably hate him right now. I was like, I do. I'm pissed. I'm not going to do anything, but like, I'm just mad. He's like, I understand. He's like, and I felt like that for a few weeks. He's like, but once I got off and started taking care of me, taking care of my neck, going to the doctor, doing all the things I should have been doing, but wasn't, because I tried to team guy through it, I'm so glad that I did. He's like, so please trust me, listen to me. Like, take advantage of this time. You're lucky that they care that the way they do. They could have left you there, and who knows what would have happened. I was like, yeah, you're right. And so I remember that a lot too. I just told that story to someone the other day too, like about how sometimes, like, if you just allow things to settle and come to you, and you just listen instead of just resisting and try to push the pace and move all the time, like you might be thankful what happens. Instead of blowing by a bunch of open doors, you might find one that you need to go through. And that happened, and that just reminded me, like, okay, there are people out there that really do care, want to help you, and again, you're not alone. And that's something I really learned a lot over the last couple of months, or last year, in a lot of different things, is like, we're all unique in our own way, but like, men's problems are men's problems. Like, there's someone out there who's been through it with you, or same thing, and they will be there for you. But you have to like let them in, and it's hard for us to do. Like I've said, in my childhood, I didn't ask questions. I didn't ask for help. I just kind of did it, and I'm like, I need to do this on my own. I need to heal myself. I need to listen to my audiobooks. I'm going to therapy. Well, yeah, that's cool, but is that enough? It's one thing to sit there and pour your heart out to someone that you don't know, and you know they're not allowed to talk about it with anyone else, at least not that you know. So you can kind of get away with it before, like, oh, I can tell them this so they like don't think I'm crazy and lock me up in a padded room and pump me full of meds. Like, I can navigate that if I need. So if you go in there and you start being vulnerable with that, you do the work on your own individually, and then you share these things with your brothers, you can kind of put all the pieces together. And that's what I've been doing. And that's why I try to just be super open about everything here today, because this is helpful for me as well. And I hope that people that hear this take away from that too, because I think that mental health now is like a thing that we as a society really struggle with, but don't really want to always talk about.
Yeah, man, that's incredible. I appreciate you saying all of that and telling your story. I mean, that's heavy stuff, no doubt about it. Sounds like a hell of a good dude that had
Yeah.
you come over. Is he still in?
He is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's neat and encouraging to hear that there are still guys like that in the community that look out for you, and that's, to me, that's what makes the SEAL teams, is that,
Absolutely.
that brotherhood for sure. Has going through the divorce and all of the kind of personal issues that was the big catalyst for getting out, has that impacted your relationship with your children?
I think it did at first, but last few months, we've connected more. They're older now too, so I can, and they're in school, they're having conversations and stuff. So,
How old are they?
My daughter just turned 8 at the beginning of September. My son will be 5 in February.
Yeah.
So 3rd grade and pre-K.
Yeah. So old enough to at least talk to them.
Yep.
Yeah, and try to
Yeah.
rationalize a little bit. Is there anything else that you want to mention about that whole process and just kind of what you've been dealing with on a personal level?
Just navigating through it, and just, now that I don't see the kids every day, it's just super important to be very present. You cherish those moments as a father, because I love being a dad. Like I love those kids more than anything. I love spending time with them, even if they drive me crazy sometimes. Like as soon as they leave, I miss them. And I wasn't like that when we were together. I was off doing my thing, gallivanting around, being a shithead, or going on trips to like try to get all the experience I can to do these things, trying to chase the excitement. And I didn't give them the best that they should have. I'm still not, but I'm a lot more aware of it now. And I try to just be more present with them. And I think that's, since that, and again, with them being older too, it's not all me, but just I'm able to relate to them more and talk to them more.
Yeah.
See, the pieces of me in them.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So, and they're bringing more joy to me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's powerful, man. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
At what point in your military career did you start training jiu-jitsu hard?
April of 23.
Okay. Were you training at all before then?
No, not really. So I started doing like boxing and Muay Thai. That was like my thing. I would do that all the time with like my friends. I'd do it on base. I'd go to classes. I did private lessons. Went to another guy's house. He ended up working at Combatives, so he had access to the gym, but he used to do stuff out of his garage. So I just do it all the time, and I loved it. And then I started going to a gym in Chesapeake, and a coach came out from San Diego. He used to teach us Combatives. He taught the Combatives course for SQT, and then the Combatives instructor course in San Diego. He came out to Virginia and started teaching striking at the gym there, and that was in December of 22. So I started going there because before I was just training on base with the guy there, and like the homies in the mornings. But then I started going to like classes again, and then I became friends with some people there. It was mostly a jiu-jitsu gym, because before he got there, that's all they did. And one of my friends that I made, he was like, "Hey, you should come sign up for this, I think it was a grappling industries tournament in Virginia Beach in like April." And so this was like probably January or so. I was like, "I don't do jiu-jitsu. Like, it's gay." Because it is. but
Which is why I like it.
which is why I do it all the time. And so I would do like the striking class, and I would do like MMA, like wall work, which is like wrestling sort of like against the wall. And then like occasionally I would do like a no-gi class every now and then, but I was just like, I don't like this. Mostly because like I sucked. But I was just like, you know what, fine, like let's do it. Cause he was like, it helps the gym out. Like the more people get there, like it's good. It's a good look for the gym. Like just sign up. It's like $80. And I was like, fine. So like Christian, who he wrestled in high school, and then we like sparred all the time. Like it was like my main training partner, like my best friend. And I was like, yo, will you do this with me? He's like, yeah, let's go. I'm like, all right, cool. So we sign up. I win my first match in like 3.5 minutes of like the most basic armbar ever, from like mount, grab it, arm, and like spin and like tap. But I was gassed. And again, I was like running, and I was in really good like cardio shape. I was fighting like 5-6 times a week on top of working out. Like I was in phenomenal shape cardio wise, and I got completely gassed. I couldn't even like close my hands. I was so tense. And I was like, what the hell's going on? Like, and I won. And then I did my next match and just got trashed, like just pinned down, and just like I couldn't. And I remember before we got to the ground though, everything that I was doing, the other guy's coach was like telling his dude what I was going to do before I did it. And I was just getting so frustrated. It's like, how does he know what I'm about to do? I was like, well, you only know like 2 things, so it's not that hard. But so it was kind of funny. But then, yeah, I got crushed. And my coach at the time, as a former SEAL also, he was just like beyond pissed. Didn't say anything, just like got up and left. And I was like, hey, I'm sorry. And he's just like, no. I'm like, okay. And then I told myself, like, that'll never happen again. Like, that's ridiculous. And that was like April 29th, I think. And then pretty much ever since then, like, I've just gone all in.
Yeah.
Like, like I've been competing a lot recently, but when I can, before I started getting heavy in the competitions and stuff, because I really just started like heavily competing the last couple of months. I had a couple before that, but the last couple of months I've been competing a lot. But before that, I'd train almost every day, sometimes twice a day. And that was all I did. And so I've only been doing it, 2.5 years now. But it's just consumed my life. Yeah. And then when I got out of the Navy at the end of May this year, when I really like upped it, I was like, I want to be a professional like jiu-jitsu fighter. Yeah. And just kind of working that
angle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's led to entrepreneurship. You started.
Yeah. So I started my Look for Work clothing company, or LFW Clothing Co. In October 22. Made like just sports apparel, basically. Did some custom orders here and there, but that was pretty much it. I did the jiu-jitsu tournament, like I said, in April 23. Kind of started getting into it more. And I only just wore the gym rash guards. Like, I didn't know anything about them. I didn't know what a good rash guard was. Like, I was like, why are people spending like $60, $70, $80 for a shirt? Like, that's ridiculous. I'm not doing that. I'll just wear these. And then I think it was February of 24, I went out to Las Vegas to test out a new rocket in the desert. And when I was there, though, I went to 10th Planet Las Vegas, and they were like, it's $40 drop-in fee. I'm like, that is absurd. Like, no way. So we, the girl I was with, I was like, I'm not paying that. Like, that's dumb. Like, we're leaving. So we're walking out the rental car. She said, well, I want to stay. I'm like, I'm not paying that. That's dumb. I was like, actually, go ask him. I was like, because the guy was like, I'm trying to run a business here. And I thought that was like kind of funny. It was like, me too. you know, because it was like, if you lived in Las Vegas, it was free, but if you're not, you had to pay. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna lie to you, but like, you were gonna give it free if I could have gave you I have family there, I could give them their address, like, but I don't want to be, I'm not like that anymore. I was before, as I told you, but I was just like, that's dumb. And so I was like, well, tell him if we buy a rash guard, will he let us stay? So she's like, yeah, he said that's fine. I'm like, all right, cool. So we go and grab 2 rash guards, $140. I was like, should have paid the drop-in fee. But I put this thing on, and I'm like, oh, wow, this is like the nicest thing I've ever owned. It was so soft, so comfy. I was like, okay, this makes more sense. I like never wore the gym rash guard again after that. I'm like, these things suck. Like, it just, before I didn't notice, but like, you don't know what you don't know. And I put this thing, I wore that thing like 4 or 5 times a week. Like, I'd wear it, get all sweaty, wash it, wear it again.
What brand is it?
I don't even know. But so I was like, this is cool. And then, so that was in February. I was training at this gym in Fort Smith. Became friends with the coach there, who actually ended up moving to Virginia Beach. And he's one of my coaches still now. But there was some guys there. He's like, hey, there's a quintet. Are you in town? I was like, actually, yeah, I am. Like, I'll be in Arkansas for a trip then. He's like, do you want to be on the quintet team? I was like, yeah, that'd be sick. I've never done that. And he's like, well, you make clothes, right? Can you make us custom like team rash guards and shorts? So I was just like, yeah, of course. I had no idea. I've never done that. I didn't even know where to look, you know, but I was just like, yeah, of course. So I start like scrambling. I'm like, all right, send me all your graphics and everything. Like, I'll find something. And I found a company or a supplier, made it, had this stuff made and shipped. And I was like, I need these by this date, because it was like super quickly. And I got them in like 12 days. We get them. Everyone puts them on. Like, this is the nicest rash guard I've ever worn. And then I compared that one to the 10th Planet Las Vegas one. It's the same thing. I don't know how I just got lucky. I found like the same supplier. Like, the stitches were all the same. The fabric's the same. Like, literally, even the tag on the inside was in the same spot. Like, I literally just found like 10th Planet's like supplier. This is awesome. So I like sold all of them. Like, not just to the team, but like other people. And I was like, well, this is cool. Maybe I'll start doing this. I was like, because I was buying rash guards like Amazon or like Temu for like $10, and they were just scratchy and shitty, and they'd like fall apart, or they weren't comfortable. And then, so I made like a custom design of like tiger stripes on it, and then found like a traditional like eagle, and it's like death before dishonor, and I'm just like American grappler over the top. And I made tiger stripe shorts where I did that, and then that was like my first order. I did a super fight in June in Portsmouth, or I wore that kit, and people were like, that's sick, like, what is that? And then I was like, oh, it's my company. And then like people bought all of those too, and I was like, okay, cool, like, I'm onto something. So then and then that guy who I started striking with opened up, or was about to open up an MMA gym, like, hey, can I make your gear, your like rash guards and shorts? And he's like, oh, I kind of have a supplier already. Like, I'm like, I'll literally give them to you for like cost plus like $100. Like, I just want to get my name out there. Like, this is actually more beneficial for you. Like, I'm going to sell them to you for like $20 a piece. You're going to sell them for like $50, which he did. And so, and then people are like, these are awesome. I'm like, okay, cool. Then I started like, maybe this is the path forward. Maybe not. I'll make my own, but I'm going to start trying to do like custom orders for gyms and stuff. But I'm not charging like $20 a shirt. And then it just kind of grew, and that's like pretty much most of what my business is now, is like custom orders, not just rash guards and shorts, but like other stuff. I've done like shirts, and jerseys, hoodies for like baseball teams, softball teams. I've done like shirts for the Navy SEAL Foundation, for Guardian Revival, a couple other nonprofits, some teams, events, challenges for stuff. My mom and her husband they have a race car team. He used to be a crew chief, and he still is, but now for his own car. And they like needed jerseys, so I made them for that, and that's kind of what I'm doing now. I still have my website where I sell like my apparel. I still have like my custom rash guards and sweatpants, joggers, hoodies, t-shirts, hats, etc. But usually the majority of my business is just like custom orders.
Yeah.
Where people, like before we got in here, I was talking to a gym owner in South Carolina about like getting some custom stuff done.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is that your main gig now?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't really make me any money, but not yet. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build that. I use that to promote like my fight career, and then my fight career to promote that. Because whenever I fight, of course, I wear my own stuff. People like it or whatever. I point them to my website. They see my website, like, oh, this is what I wear on my fights. And then I got some athletes that like I don't want to say I sponsor them because I don't have the money to do that, but like I'll give them free gear. I'm like, hey, just wear that. Like I'll give you free stuff. Just like post me on social media, talk about it, like whatever, and then kind of grow from there. And then I've done a couple tournaments or whatever where people want like, hey, can you make me a custom kit just for like me, like my own fight kit? It's like, sure. So I'll do that, and then they, whatever, and we go from there. So it can be anything from a super small order, like onesie, twosie, all the way up to, selling hundreds of items.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So is competing and the apparel stuff, is that everything that you have going on? Do you do anything else from an employment standpoint?
Well, so I'm in school. I started my executive MBA through WashU in St. Louis in August of this year. I'll graduate with my EMBA May 2027. So I do that. I got the business. I could train, travel, compete, jiu-jitsu. And then I have 2.5 Airbnbs, 2 that are mine, and then 1 that's my friend and I like bought together.
Yeah.
And then I got the kids. So that's kind of my life. And then I just picked, I did 2. I don't know when my next one is, but I'm doing like a 1099 employment with the Patriot Parachute team. And right now I'm just doing DZSO. But then like later on, hopefully this fall or this winter, if it all works out, we'll go to Arizona or somewhere and get like current on like jumping and the different types of jumping and the canopy stuff.
Yeah.
And then doing shows with them.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
As somebody who's been in the military, I mean, you just got out this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seeing so much culture shift from, obviously when you came in, it's at the midway point between the Obama administration's full 8 years.
Yeah.
Then you have, 4 years under Trump, 4 years under Biden, a few months under Trump before you get out.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious, the kind of roller coaster of culture and what's important to the U.S. military and being in special operations. First question with that is, did you see a huge impact in the SOF community, administration to administration, throughout your career?
I can't speak about the other branches or units, but I know NSW, Naval Special Warfare, had quite the shift, especially the SEAL teams, it seemed like. I had a bunch of good friends who are boat guys. I worked with some Green Berets, some CRIF dudes in UAE, my second deployment, and then in Syria a little bit. And, kind of hearing them, they were still doing stuff. Like they're, out there doing it. And the unit was out there. Like I was in Syria when they got al-Baghdadi. Like they flew to the base that we were at. There's 2 SEAL platoons there and 2 CRIF units. So, you had you know, the best dudes in the world, then you have like, you know, second, third best dudes in the world, somewhere around there, like warriors anyway. And we like weren't even the QRF to the QRF. Like we were just, like I've never felt more JV in my life. Like they're like, hey, something's going down tonight. We're turning off the Wi-Fi. Like stay in the compound. We're like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like people are like, yeah, we don't know what's going on. I was like, who is telling, you know, 40 Navy SEALs and like 40 like Green Beret, like CRIF dudes who are also 0300 package to like, they're turning off their Wi-Fi and sitting in like their compound. They can't leave. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what the hell? And then we hear all these helicopters and planes and shit. And then super loud for a while, then nothing, and then later it comes back, and then like the next morning everyone's gone, like nothing even happened. And then we get the Wi-Fi back, and it's like, Al Baghdadi's dead. We're like, cool.
Yeah, that's wild.
And it was funny because like, you know, no one, because when we went to Syria, the thing we were supposed to do, it didn't happen, but if it did, it would have been the spiciest thing probably that I would have been part of by a very long shot. That was quite the experience too. We can get into that if you want, but that was gnarly. And then like just that feeling was pretty wild of like, damn, like, yeah, like thinking you're pretty cool, you know, tip of the spear, like, and then you're like, nah, bro.
We're not even bench warmers.
Yeah, no, not even. Like, you're freaking in the ticket line still.
Yeah.
Like you're not even in the stadium. And it was, that was pretty wild. Yeah. And, yeah. But so, yeah, the culture for NSW though I feel like has changed a lot. When I first, like when I was saying, when I went through BUDS, everyone that put me through, you know, Iraq, Afghanistan veterans, just, you know, maybe a little PTSD'd out, like seen some shit. Just angry at the world. Granted, they're BUDS instructors, so like they're kind of supposed to be, I think. But then also, and with that too, like when I was, you know, when I work out the trade at gym, when I was a new guy, you'd go in there and everyone has their shirts off and they're playing like death metal. It's just like screamo music, and it's just like, let's just move as much weight as possible. Like going in there, your test levels will just skyrocket. You're just like, hell yeah, this is fucking sick. I love this. And then like as time went on, like my last platoon,
you're listening to Yanni doing yoga.
No, it was you're listening to like club music. It's like Avicii.
Wow.
And you're just like,
what happened?
What the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
And everyone's doing like, and I like CrossFit. I'm not shitting on it, but it's like there's no one in there putting up like freaking 700-pound deadlifts and like bending bars and being like, yo, Josh, like the head trainer, is like, we need new bars.
Yeah.
It's like, we need Alicos because I'm bending the rogues.
Yeah.
it's like, oh man, freaking crush that. Like cardio workout. Like, cool, dude. Yeah. Like, and you're listening to like dance music. Like, it's just different. And then like, they started doing, I love that I can say all this now too. They started like, for a while, they're doing the social media posts of like changing the trident, like the colors of it, and like happy Pride Month, happy like Black History Month, and like all this shit. It's like, dude, what are you doing? No other branch is doing this. The boat guys aren't doing this. EOD isn't doing this. The Army isn't doing this. Marines definitely aren't doing this.
Where was it coming from?
I don't know. It was, and then you'd go to the comments on like Instagram of these posts, and people are just like, what are you doing? And like no other branch is doing this. Like NSW got so woke, and it's just like, who's in charge of this? There's no leadership anymore.
I mean, did you guys, legitimately ask that? Like, where is this coming from, and run that?
We did, but they never got an answer. It was just like, well, you're in the military. Shut up.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, well, dude, what are you doing? Like, what? Like, you're tying our hands, and you're like suppressing like the culture. Like they're like, oh, no hair, no long hair, no beards, no patches, no, like you can't say long live the brotherhood, like you, because there might be women and like all this other like stupid shit. And like I used to have the TAPS test of like pretty intensive like physical fitness test for SEALs. And then like as time went on, it's just like, well, now we're just gonna like run and do a shorter swim and like a broad jump. Like, what? What happened to the body weight bench press, the deadlifts, like the sprints, like these other things that are like actually fairly challenging, where you have like SEALs and just military in general, but SEALs, it's like we're the OG like hybrid athletes. Like you put a freaking heavy ruck on a dude and like go run 3 miles, get back here in 30 minutes. Like, okay, cool, I'll do it in 24. Like, okay, now you're gonna go run 3 miles and you're gonna do it in 18 minutes. But then also you're gonna come back and you're gonna do, 20 pull-ups with a 25-pound weight vest. Then you're gonna bench press your body weight 20 times. Then you're gonna deadlift 2.5 times your body weight 5 times. Like, SEALs used to be like studs, like specimens, and then they just got rid of all that because these fat admirals who like would take the test, but they'd only do it in private, and they don't want to like do it where everyone can see them. And it's just, and I think that trickled down, and then like people trying to just burn dudes for stupid shit, like people getting mad you're not wearing a brown tee in the gym. Like, what are you doing? Like, there's 5 SEALs in here, all men, and you're mad at that dude because his shirt is black? Like, what the fuck?
Dude, that's crazy.
And then, so, and I don't know how much of that has to do with, like, POTUS or not, but I mean, now, like, with that speech that Pete Hegseth just came out, hopefully things change.
So I'm assuming you listened to it?
I saw clips. I didn't see the whole thing, but when I was with the parachute team and we were talking about it, and he was like, yeah, basically, like, you gave like an E5 the mic and was just like, what needs to change? And he's like calling out all these fat generals and admirals. It's like, you will work out. And then he said the thing like, you want, like, talking about like haircuts and stuff. It was like, if you want long hair, join Special Forces. It's like, yeah, because that's not why people join, but it's definitely a huge benefit, a huge perk of like, you want to be a cool guy,
I think, to me, so much of it is the symbolism of what it represents.
Exactly. Like, I earned this, like I'm part of something that not everyone can do.
Yeah.
And like he said in that, like, it's not supposed to be for everyone. Like, being a Green Beret is hard. Being a Ranger is hard. Being a SEAL is hard. Being in MARSOC is hard. Like, you have to try out for that. You have to be cut from a certain cloth. And that cloth is getting smaller and smaller, it seems like, as society continues. And, like, all this other, like, woke shit and, like, liberal ideology and just, like, people being like, oh, guns are the problem, and, like, transgenders and blah, blah. It's like, shut the fuck up. That has no part in this. Like, we are here to fucking kill people.
Yeah.
That is it.
So I assume you're on board and liked Pete's speech?
Yeah.
I assume. Is it safe to say that all the other dudes back at the command similarly were receptive to his speech, do you think?
Honestly, I haven't talked to a whole lot of dudes about it. Just guys that are out. Like I said, I was with the parachute team. We were talking about it. But yeah, absolutely. Like, because it's like when I joined, and I don't think this has changed. I think the guys, for the most part, there's a few who aren't like this, like anything, but I think most of the guys in the SEAL teams joined to be what they thought it was, to be a cowboy, to fucking lay waste to the enemy, to load rounds with the intent to put them in humans, bad people, to protect, their brothers on the side of them, behind them, their family back home, like what they believe in. They're people, like, no one's like wants to just go murder people. There might be, but I don't think that's what it is. People are called to be part of something bigger, something special, to prove to themselves and to find a brotherhood that means something to them. That's why I joined. That's why I was such a calling toward it. Like, I want to be a part of something like that. And then, like, they were stripping away from that. And it's just like, why? Like, what is because there's no, like, real conflict right now. Like, you need people like me. You need people like that. Like, I'm not in anymore, but, like, you need to have some dogs ready to go. Don't tame them.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's been a bit of a roller coaster on the outside looking in, seeing some of the shifts in the community over the years, which has been disappointing to say the least. I know that technically women, like the ability to try out for buds and just the SEAL program is open to women. There's been a handful that have tried. None of them have made it past the first day or few, from what I understand. A, what is your thought on that? B, do you think militarily, kind of going back to Hegseth's speech, that standards should be even across the board?
Yeah, I think we need to go, like I was saying with the PT test, like a bunch of fat admirals who can't pass it, so they change it, they water it down so that they can, it's like, well, do better. You're 50 years old, you sit in an office most of the day, you're so disconnected from reality of like what the men are doing, the E5s, E6s, E7s, like the shooters. Don't, like, just because you can't pass it doesn't mean that we should like not do it.
Yeah.
And I think that so the standards need to be high, because I saw this thing that is like minimum standards are a step above being a liability. So the standards need to be a little bit higher, especially for SOF, because we're the ones who are called to do things that are sometimes considered to be impossible, but we do them anyway with joy, and we want to do them. And I don't think women should be in the teams, not because they're women, but because there's enough men to do it, that women are so special in their ability to do things that we can't do. Like when I was talking about that op earlier, you need a woman who is competent and trained to go search someone. Like, she can do these things that I can't do, or I'm not comfortable doing, or that I shouldn't do. Like, we need people like that. Do they go through a rigorous training selection that's similar to BUD/S? Sure, if that's what they want. But how many women want to just go through BUD/S to say they're a SEAL? I have no idea. But like, if a woman can make it through and keep up and meet all the standards, by all means, I have no problem with that whatsoever. I don't think she's going to like it. I don't think she's going to be around a bunch of dudes all the time, because they're just going to hear some nasty stuff. That's just the reality of it. But I believe that women absolutely have a place in the military, as they always have and always will. They provide things that we cannot do.
Well, I think, to me, it doesn't have to be a hard black and white yes or no necessarily. I mean, from my perspective, I don't think it makes sense to have women in the current special operations units that exist.
Right.
And this is irrespective of standards. Yes, I think, the standards shouldn't be any different, and if there are women who pass all of the standards, I still don't think it's a good idea to have them in units, just for the simple fact that the dynamic that having females in historically all male units, but not just the fact that they're historically all male, it's the types of guys that are in those units. We'll take you as an example, not to pick on you.
Yeah, no,
but,
100%.
But and not you specifically, because I think, that's an Achilles heel for most soft guys.
Yeah.
And you throw females in the mix, and I think it's counterproductive to the mission. Now, it's not to say that there shouldn't be special operations units created that are all female units. I think that that's a great idea, and I would love to see that happen.
Yeah.
But I think that they should have their own units.
I agree.
Even if it's like, if you were to have, because the numbers inherently are going to be far smaller, if you had a SOCOM-wide all-female special operations unit that was even maybe specific to SOCOM, it's not even in a specific branch. But, that even if they do all of the same things that Rangers or SEALs or Green Berets or, whatever maybe it's an amalgamation of several different traditional SOF units do, I still think that they should just be their own element, for all those aforementioned reasons. I just think it's more trouble than it's worth. But as somebody who's, I guess, again, just been in fairly recently, there's been a big shift in the last 8-9 months and even some involvement of having National Guard troops, and if you just want to coin it as military members that are serving a more law enforcement role here domestically. Somebody who just got out a few months ago, what is your take on our current administration's decision to use National Guard troops in big cities to help restore law and order? Are you for it? Are you against it? Do you have any thoughts on it?
I think if there's a need to call them in and they're called in, then 100% they should be used. I also think that when these units are deployed there from wherever, usually it's not their own backyard. I think that helps a lot too, where you might have, Officer Joe who lives next to some Antifa goofball who he recognizes him, and now he's getting harassed. He might still, but now, like, if you get some National Guard dude in LA from Iowa, like, it just makes more sense to me. And besides, I feel like, I don't know for sure, I don't look into all that because it just annoys me, but I'm assuming that their rules are a little bit different. Like, I've seen recently that, I saw a video yesterday of like some Antifa idiot like spitting in the face of some officer who there was nothing. It was just, they grabbed him, threw him on the ground, cuffed him. It's like, dude, fuck around and find out. Like, what you're trying to prove a point, do it, but don't spit in people's faces. Like, do it the right way. If you believe in something, believe in it and talk about it. Don't be a piece of shit. So, and if these officers or local authorities need help and they need to rely on the National Guard or whoever, then they should have that. If they need help, they should have that, because there needs to be law and order. There needs to be discipline, because people are just so used to just doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
And we're not going full UK where you call someone a stupid name on TikTok and you're getting police showing up to your house and arresting. Like, that's absurd. That's disgusting. That really breaks my heart to see that. And that's the beauty of being here in America, is like, you can go march. You can call people horrendous things. You can burn a flag. You can do these stupid things. But you can do them. Just don't destroy things like buildings, or especially government buildings, and don't disrespect the people who are there to protect you. Because I think we all know that if that dude who spit on him, nothing happened, and then some, Trump supporter came up and just clocked him in the side of the head, who's that guy going to look at to be like, help me, he just hit me? The very cop that he just spit in his face. It's like, so you just need to stand up and talk about what's bothering you, and like, united we stand. Like my friend Micah Goodman, who's been traveling around saying this stuff, I really love what he's doing. He's like, and he's trying to talk to these people. He's talking to Trump supporters. He's talking to Free Palestine people. Like, he's talking to all these people, and his whole message is like, united we stand. Like that. Just do that. Have a conversation. Don't just shut someone down. And really talk about it, because we are so much more alike than we want to admit. But again, there needs to be law and order. There needs to be discipline. Otherwise, we are going to turn into these shithole countries where they don't value anything. And over time, we are just like, when someone dies, we're just going to pick up their body up and throw it and then raid them. Like, that's not what we're about. We care about each other. We care about what we believe in, and we need to talk about it. But if you want to, like, again, you want to fuck around, like, you're going to find out. Like, you don't do that here.
I don't disagree with any of that. I think I wouldn't call it a controversy, but where I guess have mixed feelings on the use of, whether you want to call it active duty, National Guard, whatever. I mean, active military personnel in American cities. To me, it seems pretty cut and dry if the mayor and or the governor requests for help. Like, that seems like a no-brainer. Like, that's what they're for, if they're asking for help. Where it's less clear and far more gray, in my opinion, is take Chicago, where the governor and the mayor are saying, we don't need your help, we don't want your help, and they're sending them anyway. To me, that's where it gets a little.
Oh yeah, I didn't. Yeah, so and I'm ignorant to that, or I just don't know. But I agree. Yeah, if the people who are there on the ground, it's their day-to-day life, are like, hey, we don't need this, you should respect that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a mistake to send them anyway. You know, like you've got to let communities police their own if they want to, and not just from an actual law enforcement standpoint, but the kind of the adage of policing your own from a, hey, if your city's a shithole and it's run amok with crime, and you continue to vote governors and mayors in who are allowing it and condoning it and just being part of the problem, then that's for you to sort out.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
People will
think
get sick of it at some point.
Or if you don't, then you get what you deserve.
Yeah.
But
I think you need to trust your leaders. You need to empower them, and if you'd be like, all right, you don't want it, just we don't want it to spread.
Yeah.
We'll do something then. But like if you say you got it, you got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, what a fascinating story, and just hearing the different struggles that you've had in your life between high school and joining the military, and then ultimately what was the catalyst for getting out, and your attitude towards it now is super refreshing and awesome to hear as somebody who for me, which is weird to even say this, it feels like you're the next generation of team guys from my generation, if you want to call it that. It's like,
yeah,
which is weird because when I came in at 18, and I was always the young guy, youngest in my buds class, youngest in my platoon. I was the youngest at Team 3, the first year or two I was there, and then it's like you blink your eyes, and now there's guys 15 years younger than you that spent as much time as I did.
Yeah.
It's just weird, but it's neat to see that. It feels like there's a kinship that you just feel with other team guys, and hearing you talk about stories of going through buds, like some of your instructors were my students,
right?
But it's like some things never change in a good way. It's like the culture and the personality of the SEAL teams feels like it's still the same after being able to sit here and talk with you. So it's been a neat trip down memory lane for me, and I really appreciate you sharing your story.
Yeah.
What haven't I asked you that I should have?
Oh, I don't know. We hit a lot.
I guess is there anything else you want to bring up before we close out and you get your swag here?
No, I just closing comments would just be one, like, thank you again for having me. This is a huge honor. This is my first in-person podcast. I've done a couple virtually, but this was really special. It was nice to leave the comfort of my home and sit down with another brother and talk about all sorts of things, funny, deep, hard, not so hard. Get to talk about, things that are important to me and be heard. I hope that they help other people in a way to, look for work on their own. I appreciate it. And, also, like, if anyone wants to sponsor my jiu-jitsu career, hit me up.
Yeah. Where can people find you? And you had me at deep, hard, and not so hard. But well, I'm on LinkedIn. Alex Rogers, I think it's just linkedin.com /Alex-Rogers-1, I think. Is that the best way to support you if somebody wanted to sponsor?
LinkedIn or Instagram. My Instagram, I have two. My personal page is AROG14, and then the business page is LFW Clothing Co. Those are the two. And then my links are on there for my website, and then you can send an email or just Google LFW Clothing Co. and I think my phone number comes up, and just send me a call, text, email, or whatever, and what you see is what you get. So this is me. It's just me. Runs everything. You'll talk to me directly for whether it's an order or a sponsorship, or just you want to talk about something else that you disagreed with or you liked or want to go deeper into. I'm open to it. I want to help people, and I want to again look for work and create a better community for people.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. I've got some stuff here, a coin, and then
Okay. Thank you so much.
I don't know if you're a shit kicker wearing kind of guy or not, but the box
Yeah.
opens from the bottom front
Okay.
to commemorate your time here on the show. And I think
Yeah.
you open that faster than
Oh,
anybody
wow.
else has.
That is very nice.
Yeah, so if you find yourself in, I don't know, the town rodeo or whatever, do they have rodeos in Virginia Beach? Probably.
They do. They have them on the beach every now and then.
Well, now you're all set.
Yeah, no, this is phenomenal. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again for coming, man. I appreciate you sharing your story.
Yeah, thank you.
To the listener/viewer, I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, you can choke yourself. And until next time, this is Mic Drop.